Pound.
In a world
Get the hell up!
where Carolina Panthers fans
Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
have an insatiable thirst
I need to see a lot more of that shit going forward.
for Panthers news and opinions.
All my C3 brethren from the C3 Legion.
Only one podcast roars ferociously.
The longest running Panthers podcast on the internet.
It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Oh, Greg, I owe y'all $100, man.
Come on, take a seat on the couch, Panther fans. We're back to therapy. That's right. It's Tuesday night. It's the C3 Panthers podcast, and every other week it seems like we have a different opinion of what the future beholds. The Carolina Panthers just 2 weeks ago went to Lambeau, eked out a very tough win on the road that symbolized a lot of growth and tenacity and fight for this team that looked like it could signal that the defense, that this offense, and a lot of things in this coaching staff was growing and coming together. The following week, just two days ago, the Carolina Panthers hosted division rival New Orleans Saints and fell 17-7 to a 1-8 team, and really just in abysmal fashion to a rookie. And a lot of the same questions coming back. We hear players now talking about how they were big-headed, potentially unprepared, and back again is the conversation. Bryce Young, how much more will the team invest going forward with him beyond this season? You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by, well, now just us, the C3 Panthers podcast. My name's Tony Dunn. This is my wheelman, Cody Lack. How you doing, my friend?
Tony Dunn, normally I love to feel vindicated, but right now I just feel deflated. Like I said in the post-game show, I know the season's not over. We're still number 2 in the division. We're getting ready to play a division rival, Atlanta Falcons, who we beat 30-0 earlier this year. But I feel like we were pantsed in front of the world, Tony Dunn. And I feel like now the blueprint on how to beat the Carolina Panthers is obvious for the world to see. And it absolutely has to do with QB9 Bryce Young. Tonight, we're going to talk about, is it Dave Canales not calling the deep shots, or does Dave just not trust Bryce Young to make those deep shots? We're going to talk about the defense and how J.C. Horn just absolutely fell flat. As you alluded to, we're going to talk about the lack of accountability in this locker room and what that says about Dave Canales in year 2. And we're also going to talk about a former Panther player who might have a future in the adult film industry, Tony Dunn.
Whoa.
I added it just for you because I know you would love to talk about it. And by the way, I hate to put you on the spot, but I'm going to do it anyway. Happy birthday to my brother, Tony Dunn. C3 Legion, wish my man the happiest birthday. Tony Dunn, love you, brother. You have changed my life, letting me be on this pod with you and CK and Greg and all the C3 Legion. And you're incredible, man. Thank you for everything that you do for us, bro. Happy birthday, brother.
Thank you very much. My 44th trip around the sun, and it's been fun doing it with you guys in the last, 13 years as the podcast. And it's been a big part of my life. We're going to keep tonight's show a little moving and hopefully a little bit more succinct than some other nights. I've got still real work to do and life work to do on my birthday, so I'll be up late, but still, we got to get this done. CK, you're at a wedding this past week, and good weekend to not watch football.
Yeah, so I was. My sister-in-law was getting married. When me and my wife started dating, she was 2 years old, and so obviously being able to be there while she grew up and then be there at her, big day was awesome. And before the wedding, her wedding was at 3, but my kids were in the wedding. So we were there early, and so I wasn't able to watch any of the game. I was listening to the live broadcast for the first quarter and a half, and it didn't sound horrible, but it also was still somewhat concerning with the deep shots they were giving up and what have you. And I think at this point, and I was talking about it with Cody before, the Bryce Young experience, I think we can all say it's done. It's the only reason I am saying this, and I'm so willing to accept this, is when Cody was gung-ho about Matt Corral, right? He was like, we've got to give him a shot. He was playing in the preseason, playing god-awful football, looked horrible, right? And the argument always was that he was playing with third stringers and he wasn't really given an opportunity, right? But year 3, you have to be able to take the bull by the horns. It doesn't matter what is given to you. It doesn't matter how many excuses you want to give somebody. It doesn't matter in the NFL. If it's not working, it's not working. And the worry about what we saw on Sunday, which I will be transparent, I haven't watched a highlight. I haven't watched any sports shows to talk about what happened. The only thing I am basing any of this off of is the reaction from Twitter and some of the press conference questions. You would see some highlights there, things along those lines. And one of the most concerning things about this and why I'm ready to pull the plug on the Bryce Young experience is the start of this at the end of this game. One of the statements was they dared Bryce Young to beat them. And when you're talking about a team that drafted every possible asset that we had available at that time for a quarterback, to not have him beat you, you built this team around him. You went and got T-Mac. You went and got Xavier Legette. You went and put Rico Dowdle in the backfield. You have Chuba Hubbard.
$100+ million offensive line.
Right. You've
all beat up right now, though. In fairness, there,
every
the
piece
offensive
around
line beat
him.
up.
But even with the offensive line beat up, and that's the part of this, right? You got at some point we have to stop the excuses, because every single quarterback in the league that's considered good has had that same issue, and they are going to have their struggles. But nobody has looked as bad as Bryce Young has in this season when that happens. And that is where I think you have to start putting some responsibility on Bryce Young's shoulders. If other people with similar or if not worse situations are able to accomplish something better than what we've seen from Bryce by a large margin, I think we have to acknowledge the issue may in fact be Bryce. And we can make the argument that Dave Canales is a part of the problem, right? I've been willing to put some responsibility on his shoulders as well. The idea that his response to, are you going to start calling deep shots, is when we start being more effective at deep shots, I'll start calling them more. That is such a ridiculous statement, because you're not going to get better until you call them, right? Well, you can call those in practice all day, every day, but it's not simulating real game opportunities. And you're not going to get the timing down right when you're talking about the energy that you have in a stadium like that, right? The idea that you aren't going to call a big shot down the field because we haven't been able to do it in the past is the most ridiculous statement I have ever heard in my life. In what world do you say, I want to get better at something by not doing it?
So much to talk about tonight. So before we go further, Tony, I forgot to do the thing that I do, and that is the roll call. Let's jump into it, man. Our boy Drew back in the show. What's up, brother? Our boy Anthony Picarello. What's up, bro? Kristen Butler, Joey the Blind Panther, Bryson, our man Commander CPF, G Baby in the building. Oh boy, what's up, G? Jake the Snake, John B. Jenkins, KG73s, Lawrence Trevette, Panther Pickle, Nanook of the North, our boy VR the Hope Dealer, and your bastard son, White Chocolate Express. So, Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. It's another Tuesday night. Let's roll.
The number's 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. I've often said on this podcast, we'll be talking about Bryce Young till we're not. And that is until you're either convinced that he is what you need and you have full faith and confidence going forward, or till he's not on the team. Well, guess what? We're still talking about Bryce Young this week because neither of those things have been solved. And yes, there are always things to consider. Like Panther Pickle said, blaming one thing on one person alone is not really a wise way to do things. But really, I don't think at this point I think we're moving in the sense from blame. This is not about winning the game. The discussion right now is not what cost the Panthers loss in this point. The Panthers fell 17-7. They should not. I mean, at any point have lost to this team. Yes, all these division rivals can cause problems. Any given Sunday is a real deal in the NFL, right? I mean, and that's true. You can't take a team lightly. So many people asked if this was a trap game coming off of that Green Bay game. You saw the Buffalo Bills get beat at home by Miami.
Yeah, by the Dolphins. Yeah.
So I mean, look, is that there is in a sense that the Panthers at any moment could have lost this game, right? I mean, that was a reality we all knew going into this game. The problem is, or the real reality is that there's a point that we have to turn the corner where the Carolina Panthers don't lose games that they should win. And the week before, they won a game that they arguably shouldn't have won. And now this is an opportunity to catch momentum. And really, for me, I was hoping that this was going to be the Bryce Young coming out party. And there was some problems here too. Is to say Bryce Young alone is didn't do anything good is unfair, right? I mean, there was that pass. I mean, I can't believe. I was actually surprised. I don't know if you saw Xavier Legette's comments about the pass in the end zone. He said it was too far. It was a little too far out, right? He didn't say, "Oh, I could have come down with that." He said the pass was too long, right? I mean, which I don't think so. I thought, man, that thing.
Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to show the video today, and we're going to basically go through who was that on. Yeah. Was that a terrible pass by Bryce Young, or should Xavier Legette have come down with that ball? And you probably already know what side I fall on.
I don't know. I mean, it looked like it was thrown to a beautiful spot, the kind of thing that great plays are made of. But we'll go through that. The thing, though, is not about even this. Is I'm not even on. We'll do that. We'll play that little game. But to me, this is not about, was this Bryce's fault? Was this somebody's fault? Was this that? It's when does the confidence of belief set in? Is when does the opportunity for a player to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat set in? Yeah. So where does the game that Rico Dowdle has had 3 games in a row to where all of a sudden you're like, man, Rico Dowdle could be a top back in the league? When does that game happen for Bryce Young in the face of challenge, right? And I mean, it's always and I'm not trying to cast blame. I'm not even trying to defend or it's just the idea is at what point do you overcome all of that? Or when does it, when does it move? When does it shake? When does it do something? And let's go ahead and jump into the show, Cody. I mean, in no sense in just over generalizing the Bryce Young discussion. There is nothing more. It would be ridiculous for this podcast tonight to not be centrally focused on Bryce Young, given the discussion that's going on. Yeah. This is a Bryce Young and Dave Canales conversation till it's not. Tonight's show is Bryce Young's 5th year, even an option. And right now they're going into year 4. And you come off of this loss, and every other week we go from having hope to question. Where are we beginning, Cody? I mean, I know it's Bryce, but specifically. Yeah.
So listen, I'm calling a little bit of an audible, right? I made up the whole show tonight. We're going to go into the details of absolutely all of it. But literally right before the show, my attention was made aware to what Mark Schlereth had to say on a podcast about the game. And remember, he was calling the game. I'm just going to let Mark roll. I'm going to let him say it's 1 minute and 40 seconds. We're going to let you guys hear this because this is such a resounding answer to everything that we've been wondering, everything that we've been looking at. This is apparent for everyone to see. And what Mark Schlereth says right here is not only the truth, but it really just shoves a knife in the back of your fandom and makes you wonder what the past 3 years have even been for. I'll let Mark have the floor.
You can really tell what a team thinks of you based upon the way they play you. And one of the things Staley did is he brought edge pressure consistently. Alontae Taylor blitzed a bunch. He had a bunch of corner type blitzes off the edge. And what he was doing was saying, hey, man, we're going to take you away from the running game. So if you're pushing that way, you automatically have to, cut back because here comes an unblocked guy off the edge. So you're basically adding defenders into the box, adding defenders at the point of attack in the running game. And I thought they dialed that up on a consistent basis. They did it time and time and time again. And so when you're doing that, what are you saying to what are you saying to the offense? What's your defense indicating how your coach feels about this offense? And what that is we're going to give you one-on-one opportunities outside the numbers. And we don't think your quarterback can handle it. We don't think your quarterback's good enough to beat us. The New Orleans Saints at 1-8 came in on the road to the Carolina Panthers and said the only way you can beat us is Rico Dowdle being big-time performer. And we're going to take him out of this game. Your quarterback does not have what it takes to beat us at 1-8. That's exactly what they said. Exactly what they said. And you know what? They were 100% correct. That passing game was pathetic.
Pathetic is absolutely what it was. And boys, even in our performances where we have won this year, Bryce was never the best part of the offense. In the 30-0 performance against the Falcons, Bryce was not the centerpiece of why we won. He was not the centerpiece of why we won against the Jets. He was not the best part against the Cowboys, even though he played well. Tony, you and I have been talking about this Panthers offense is not built to win a shootout. If we get down by multiple touchdowns, this offense
by 10,
this offense does not have the capability of coming back and passing to get those types of yards to come back. They just don't have it unless Rico Dowdle has a monster performance. All of our worst fears have been realized, and I hate to go all the way back to 2023, but this is why so many people in the C3 fandom and in Panthers fandom in general did not want to draft an undersized, weaker arm quarterback with the number 1 overall pick in the draft. Now, inevitably, it opens up all the questions as to whose fault is this? Is Dave Canales just not calling these deep ball passes, or is Bryce Young just not capable of it? So that's why Dave Canales doesn't call them. And if so, why? Because it feels as though Dave Canales' job is connected to Bryce Young. So if you want a shot at having another quarterback next year, then wouldn't you want to show the world, hey, I'm calling all these deep ball passes and our quarterback is just not connecting on them? It's so embarrassing. And it feels like after all that we've been through, all the quarterback hell, all the purgatory of not knowing if we were ever going to have a franchise guy, from the Kyle Allens, the Teddy Bridgewaters, the Taylor Heinekes, even the Sam Darnolds and the Baker Mayfields who never lived up to their potential here, to the broken down, battered Cam Newton. Through all of it, we are still in a position where the Carolina Panthers do not possess a franchise quarterback on the roster. And it's deflating, Tony Dunn. It's deflating, CK, knowing that no matter what we do, even if we're able to get 2-3 more wins going forward the rest of this season, the ceiling of the Carolina Panthers is ultimately limited because we do not have a quarterback that will take us the rest of the way there. And it's humiliating. It's deflating. I feel bad for all of us, for all of Panthers fandom. I even feel bad for Bryce, man, because he is a good man. His even today he was doing a sneaker drive to raise awareness for mental health issues after Nealon tragically took his life for the Dallas Cowboys. He's a great guy, But as a football player, as a quarterback, he just does not have what it takes to lead this team into the future. And it's just 100% deflating, man.
Yeah. I think one of the things that, and this is, I'll be upfront with this is not an excuse for Bryce Young. Bryce Young has had a lot of dropped passes from receivers. Now, in all fairness, a lot of those dropped passes, while in the NFL should be caught, would be highlight reels on top 10 plays every single week on the NFL Network, right? You shouldn't have every single time. Like if we want to go back, which I know we're talking about that Xavier Legette catch. That's the one highlight or the one play that I have seen actually show up on my Twitter feed. And I think there's a bit of truth on both sides of that. I think if Xavier Legette lays out, I think he can catch that ball.
Or he's a little faster. Like, I mean, it's really in the spot that you want to throw a football in that play.
Ball. You see so many times a receiver has full body extended to catch a ball like that, right?
Yeah, it almost felt like he barely reached for it.
Right. It looked like there was a little bit less effort involved there. Now, that ball is a little better. He doesn't have to do any of that. But had he actually extended out, everybody's talking about how that's a perfect throw from Bryce Young because it just went straight right where the only Xavier Legette could get it, right? So I think there's a bit of both on that. I think Bryce Young could have had a better throw in that. But let's not be real about it. Let's be 100% accurate about this, okay? One throw was not going to change the perception of this game. Even if that ball was perfect and it was dropped, there was enough bad from what I've heard in this game to make that not even a point of emphasis about how well he did. It's to the point where, I'll be honest with you, I don't know what he can do the rest of the year to change our minds anymore. Because are we going to continue to rely on this end of the season stretch that he tends to have, where it's just like he gets really good in that final 5 games of the season? Or are we going to finally realize that if your coach doesn't trust your quarterback, that you have number 1 overall to get the ball out of his hands to his best receivers down the field to stretch the field open so that Rico has an opportunity to actually play the ball? Like, we're talking about one-dimensional football at its best, right? We're talking about the most vanilla offense you could possibly run because you have basically told the world we cannot throw the ball down the field. Don't even worry about it. Go ahead and load the box. That's a problem.
A couple of comments that stuck out to me. Panthers, Pickle, and trying to be fair. Right. I mean, I think that's what Pickle's trying to do is he said that there was 50-50 on Bryce and Canales. And then also talking about that Bryce is not where the Canales hasn't developed a quarterback before. Panthers Gal said, I think it was Panthers Gal that mentioned, let's talk about, I mean, are we going to talk about the receivers and the tight ends being ass? I think this is like I feel like all those comments of what and it's fair to say they're not poor comments, but I think it's what we've all been trying. We're just saying every week, just finding something to say here. And it comes to that. You're right. Like the Legette touchdown. Like I really think that looked like a fucking good ball, dude. Like, I mean, yeah, was it a little ahead of him? But then the question is why isn't that guy? I mean, okay, it didn't work out. That's not going to change the whole game. But it's just always it's always something. It's just something. It's like, and now we're talking play calling.
It's exhausting.
It's play calling. That's the thing. Is like, oh, you're not calling the right plays. When do you just ever the Carolina Panthers started out with a touchdown that should have been a pick. It should have been a turnover.
Bryce should have 2 interceptions and a fumble.
It was a turnover, and fortunately, a hands to the face after, which had nothing to do with the actual throw or the play or the decision, bailed them out. 2 times on that first drive, bailed out by defensive penalties. Okay, thank you. So the Panthers were even playing from ahead with the help of the refs in that first drive. They go touchdown, punt, into half. Missed field goal, fumble, interception, over on downs. Game's over.
Yeah.
And really, it's not about saying if Bryce is the problem or this or that. It's like, at what point can you just say that this guy can overcome?
But
Because
listen,
you know what? You're not always going to have perfect
right.
situation. You're not always going to have a good offensive line. And look, and it's, I think it's fair too to say that this offensive line is so beat up this week that they didn't play to the level that they played against Green Bay, right? That they weren't. I mean, that's a clear because we couldn't get the running game going. But at what we're always going to have drop passes, or like, when is the point that I just say this is like, man, Bryce? Well, not. I don't know if you're ever going to be able to say he's just a dog. Like, he just did it.
But Tony, even in the games that we barely won, right? Like, I mean, think about the New York Jets and the Green Bay Packers. Like I said on the Sunday show, it has me reevaluating whether or not we were good or those teams were just bad, and that they didn't do what was necessary in order for us to, or for them to win the game. And let's be real. Listen, I am not going to sit here and say that the play calling was perfect. But like you said, Tony, there were opportunities for Bryce to take over the game. And those turnovers absolutely gutted us. Like, those games were, the game was close. This was not a blowout for the majority of the game. The Panthers were in this game.
Like it, though.
It
like,
felt
I mean,
like
is that
if you look at the scoreboard, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't a blowout. Though that turnover at the end of the game just throws it right to the defender, and then they're able to get points off of that. It's just unacceptable, man. And then it also raises the level for the defense, that when J.C. Horn probably has his worst performance in 2 years, that your offense isn't able to play complementary football to make up for that, because the defense has to be perfect down in and down out in order to make up for the woes of this offense. And it's just not sustainable. It isn't sustainable. And I don't want to put all the blame on Dave Canales, because Bryce Young is a problem. And the people trying to and I'm not saying that Dave is perfect, but the people that are deflecting the blame from Bryce onto Dave Canales after all of these snaps that we have seen from Bryce, it's pathetic at this point. It's pathetic. You can have your gripes with Dave, but to say that this is on him and the play calling is absolutely disingenuous. I'm sorry. It is.
Some of the route and again, I'm not an X and O guy, right? Like, it's just like sometimes it looks like it's all clogged up. Like, people are running too, like, it's not, there was a few plays that have been highlighted where it doesn't seem like they're layered enough. Like, it's okay to say you want to push the ball deep, but you need like a deep option, a mid option, and a lower option. I feel like sometimes, like, everybody's in the middle, everybody's deep. There's not enough balance in those route trees. Sometimes I feel like they're running. We've seen players run into each other. Now that was offensive line, but like, certainly without blame. I mean, he's not without blame, but at this point is when do you go? I mean, are you sitting here, Bryce Young, at this point? Have you had any? You've said that you're waiting for a game for him to just slay,
win us over,
just slay
himself to be worth that first overall pick.
That just like crazy. That game, for our real standards as fans, if you gave us 225 yards and 3 touchdowns, that's the game. And that's not even that game. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that you're talking about 102 yards, and it's not always about statistics. It's not always about how many yards you throw, this and that. It's just really, I have not at any point walked away from any game at any moment saying anything more than I want Bryce Young to work. Not, I believe he is the truth. I never, you know what I'm saying? It's just always, I want Bryce to work. So if we look at this, pull up the slideshow real quick and let's go through just a couple of these headlines, because you can say, or I don't care if you say, is this the Carolina, is this us? Yeah. In a sense, just getting locked in continuously to Bryce Young. Now, I also do want to caution too, is that a lot of these are kind of like national writers like that are kind of.
Well, this first one is
takes.
Alex Zeitlo.
Oh, well.
Yeah,
The next one is an outsider take. So
sure. So we have some insiders and some outsiders. And Tony, to me, that really what we're talking about right now, it signifies the pendulum swing. Because, obviously there's been a vocal group of Panthers fans that have not been very impressed with Bryce throughout his career. But now that's really starting to leak into the media, who are now starting to write the articles that, hey, there might be a Bryce Young problem that is holding the Panthers offense back. This is from Alex Zeitlo of the Charlotte Observer. This is a question and answer article, and he puts the Bryce Young dilemma, the 2025 version. He was asked how much of what we've seen from Bryce is his ankle and how much it is what it is. He says the short answer for now, it is what it is. The Panthers offense lacks individual explosiveness and collective execution, and Bryce Young is at the center of all of that. All of this was true before he twisted his ankle, point blank, period. Let's dig a little deeper, though, because the topic of Young and all it encompasses is not the only common question in the mailbag. It's also the consequential question facing the long-term success of the Panthers. In October 2024, Mike Kay wrote a story headline, The Bryce Young Dilemma. You might remember it. Young was going into the 5th week after being benched in week 3. The Panthers were 1-6. Kay discussed if there was a trade value for Young. There wasn't. He explored whether Young could start. That wasn't the plan at the time, not before Andy Dalton sprained the thumb intervened. And finally, Kay wondered if Young would be at the helm of the Panthers in 2025 if he didn't return to the lineup in 24. It wasn't likely. He said, I point to this moment for 2 reasons. One, the new Bryce Young dilemma, the 2025 version, if you will, it stems from the fact that, yes, Young is indeed the best quarterback on the Panthers and has shown flashes of clutch brilliance in his 3rd year. But he has also been very inconsistent, really inconsistent. Quarter by quarter, there's so much game by game, and even his best hasn't produced guarded numbers. He hasn't thrown a touchdown pass. He hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in 2 games. His lowest completion percentage of the season was his lowest completion of the season was a 40-yard catch and run from Tedroa McMillan against Arizona, and he's only thrown for over 200 yards once. The same Arizona game, his average passer rating was 79.7. That's 37th amongst all quarterbacks who have notched a start in the NFL this year as of Monday afternoon. He continues to go on. But, Tony, basically what all of this is saying is, we sort of said that there was a little bit of some divine intervention on behalf of Bryce, even being able to get back into the lineup last year after Andy Dalton was injured in that car accident. But a lot of people wondered, was Dave Canales ever truly willing to go back to Bryce Young, even if Andy Dalton had continued to struggle? Right now, I think you're seeing a continuation of that. Bryce has sort of picked up where he left off at the start of the year last year, as opposed to the end of the year last year. And it really says that he might not even have a market for other teams to come and get him, even if they wanted him. It wouldn't even net you.
No, you're not trading. You're talking about a question here of a guy is that you could see in a world if the Carolina Panthers release Bryce Young, that someone's picking him up to be a backup.
Yeah.
And maybe a project that could be worked on in lieu of an aging quarterback or an injured quarterback. You're talking about a team going maybe like a Commanders or the Rams with Stafford or the 49ers, a team like that doesn't have to bet on him at any component. The only thing they have is to give him a chance to just be in the room and maybe find his way onto the field at some point. Right now is that the problem with this is actually, you know what is, and I know, I mean, it's so emotional for Panther fans, right? Because we invested so much in the beginning and then the emotional investment into the fight the emotional investment into the fight of who's right, whose belief set is right about Bryce has caused people to dig in so hard. I frankly would say this is I didn't know what it would be with Bryce Young. I thought that his floor was higher and his ceiling was lower.
And it's just
this floor has not been as high as I didn't think. I didn't expect it to be great. Like, I mean, I didn't demand it to be great.
But remember
I thought that at this point, right now, at this moment in the season, after the coach, that this would have been a game that Bryce Young and the team could have put together. That would have, even if Bryce Young wasn't the true long-term answer, I think that this game this past week was an opportunity to where the Panthers could feel a little bit more resided among the fans and themselves to say, you know what, it's not time to reset. It's not time. Just get, he might not be the biggest world beater in the history of the world, but we can work with this. And once again, you're coming back to, can you work with this? How long can you invest in this? And it's scary. It's scary going back to the well, because I tell you, there's no easy solution in fixing a franchise that doesn't know who their quarterback is. Let's continue and go to the next. This is from the Draft Network. Justin Mello writes, the Carolina Panthers suffered a disappointing upset on Sunday, losing 17-7 to New Orleans Saints in Week 10. Starting quarterback Bryce Young really struggled. We're reaching a point where the Panthers must have a difficult conversation about Young's future. Young completed 17 of 25 passing attempts for 124 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, a lost fumble. Did he have a fumble, or was that J.C. Horn?
Jimmy Horn?
Yeah, man. Yeah, Jimmy Horn.
So
they really have a fumble, or do they count it on both of them?
It was counted towards Bryce.
Okay,
but I kind of feel like Jimmy Horn didn't have his arms in the right position.
Yeah, I wouldn't put that on Bryce.
Yeah, but 2 interceptions.
Yeah, 2 interceptions, and I also think it's the type of interception they were. That's is that they're just like yucky. You know what I'm saying? It's not like
it wasn't an excuse that you could make for it. Like neither one of them.
What was the game I was watching? Was it last night or 2 nights ago where it's like it boinks off the player and then the other team did like everything? It's not like, I mean, these were just some that just didn't look good. All right. The third year quarterback has not played well. Mello writes, Young has thrown for 200 yards once this campaign. It happened in Week 2 in garbage time defeat versus the Arizona Cardinal. Young endured 7 consecutive appearances with fewer than 200 passing yards. He's not executing Dave Canales' offense efficiently. Young's interception versus Saints was a terrible decision, with the Panthers trying to mount a fourth quarter comeback. The former number 1 overall quarterback locked in on his sideline target and threw a duck that was easily intercepted by Alante Taylor. The Saints took over possession at Carolina's 42-yard line, scored a touchdown 5 plays later, extending their lead to 17-7. Young currently here, though, is where we get to some. I mean, and again, I don't know how much this guy's really watched the team, and you know what I mean. But like this, so kind of outsider analysis. Young currently ranks 25th in NFL passing yards. He's only got 1,500 passing yards. Right in front of him is Saints quarterback Spencer Rattler, who was benched 2 games ago. You'll also see that Michael Penix, who's missed time, has more yards than Bryce Young.
Young's definitely a more explosive offense, too. He's got a much better arm.
Yeah, man. Or I don't know if say more explosive offense or just that he is chunking it better, because we've been pretty explosive in the running game, right? Quarterback rating of 79.7, 31st in the league. Adjusted quarterback 40.7, ranks 29th out of 33. Young isn't pushing the ball down the field aggressively, writes 5.6 yards per passing attempt, only better than backup quarterbacks Kirk Cousins and Tyrod Taylor and rookie Dylan Gabriel. Young has been at 5.5 yards attempt or lower in 3 straight games. The Panthers 30th in passing, only better than the Jets and the Titans. The big roadblock he talks about is replacing Young this offseason, current draft position, because the Panthers are winning too many games. The Carolina Panthers are probably going to be picking in the teams So you're probably not going to be able to draft someone. Then he gets this is where it all makes us want to vomit. And this is where I want Bryce Young. I wanted this game. I want to be like, oh man, Bryce is coming.
That's why I said deflating, Tony. That's the word I'm using.
Nauseating.
It takes the wind out of you, man.
Because he says, alternatively, General Manager Dan Morgan consider acquiring Tua Tagovailoa or Kyler Murray.
No,
we're done. You know what? I bet
we're done with the shorties, bro.
Nah, I will tell you
we're
this.
done with them.
It's Kyler is different right now. Does that mean he's good or better?
No, he also doesn't.
He's been more successful. He's been more successful than Bryce. He's had a more successful career, but in 8 years.
Sure,
but that dude does have a cannon. I can't deal with. I don't want either of these guys, but Tua, I can't fuck with that.
No. If we don't have a quarterback that's 7'3" next year, I'm out.
I don't think it's that. I don't know what to do. That's the scary part about this. As I want Bryce Young to be good, but at what point does it become that? And right now, it hasn't become that at any moment. It's always something.
What I want is a quarterback that's 7'8" and that can just step back about 15 yards and have a long snapper get the ball to him every single play, and he has a cannon for an arm, and you just get 3 speedsters. You just put it up in the air every single time. I don't even care,
dude. I'm just being like, I know we're sort of joking here, whatever, but like my thing is, I want a quarterback that I know is going to make the routine throws. Boys, you all remember that when we drafted Bryce Young, we were sold the idea that, hey, man, he might not have the biggest arm. He might not have, the crazy physical attributes that some quarterbacks have, but he's accurate and he's on time. Bryce Young, through this point in his career, is neither of those things. And frankly, it seems like he has a hard time seeing the field. And I don't even mean from a physical perspective. I mean, like, it seems that there are times when he doesn't really even understand what he's looking at. How did you explain that interception?
This is like, or that also some of the, like, where everybody's like Coker's open. I mean, you can get such in a rabbit hole if and buts. If this guy did this, if he did this, it does seem like it's at what point does it like just come together in that, right? Is like, and I actually feel that way, Cody, is I don't know. I don't think this is clearly there are moments where the size is problematic. You saw that first batted pass and you could see from the angle that it was thrown, that it was up the middle. Like it was like that guy didn't even he just put his arm. He saw the timing of the ball. He put his arm up and it was done. Okay. Shit like that's going to happen. It is at any moment that you're not rolling a little. It's like, why is it he seeing more at this point in his career? And I don't know if the game's slowing down for him.
It's not. Right, it's too often. I don't care if he is going to his first read or what have you in there. He's not even. It's so often that we see other quarterbacks get up to the line and realize maybe there's a mismatch and throw the ball to a guy who's just wide open. It happens all the time, and it feels like we are never on the receiving end of those types of plays. Bryce Young, it's as much as we want to talk about him being cerebral, or whatever you want to call it, it does not feel like the game is slow to him. It does not. He can. No. You can talk about that. His final drive of the game, if it's a game-winning drive, like he just seems to be on point every single time he's doing one of those types of drives. You could say that all day, every day. And I'd be hard to be able to argue against that. It's not that drive. It's the body of work that is the problem. And if there's a lot of games, and the problem is this year, a lot of the games we're losing are just ugly losses. They're not even losses like the Packers are taking, against the Eagles last week, right? It's not like we're getting to the wire and we're like, you know what? I'm happy with the way the team looked. Even though we lost, I'm happy with the way that they look. Every single loss that we have had has been like, we have been contemplating our fandom.
It's the people it's the team you lost to. It's not this. It's like just as much as beating the Packers was so inflating to us because of the team, the road, Who cares how you did it? Who cares if you had 102 yards? You won a game you weren't supposed to. The problem it has not been the losses against Buffalo that have thrown us for the loop. It has been a loss like this, to where the moment the team can come together and somebody can step forward, and at this moment where the quarterback could do this. But this is not new. Yeah, I mean, I know Schlereth said what he said, Cody, but everybody in the fucking world also said this in the Jets game. I said this right before the Jets. They both have the same exact game plan. Take away the run and make the quarterback beat you. Like, that should be the game plan at all time. And until they do it. And enough with that. Bryce won that on the final drive. He had to. If you're walking away, you know what? You're right. Let's just extend, Bryce.
Dude, listen. I'm telling you, this game, Tony and CK, this represented like a change in the Overton window. Even a lot of the longtime Bryce supporters are now starting to be like, yeah, man, he's not it. So, by the way, let me show you guys a little more evidence. This is every NFL team's pass protection versus their QBR. So you want to be in the top right with a good QBR and a good pass protection. Look at the Panthers. They are up there in pass protection. Their rankings are good. Even in spite of all of the injuries that we've had on this offensive line this year, the backups that have come in are doing their job. And yet Bryce is still not delivering the ball when he has an opportunity to do so. Look, let me add more salt to the wound. This is from BRY on Twitter. Just a reminder, Tyler Shuck's second career start would be the fourth best game of Bryce Young's entire career.
Yeah, that's the thing is, look, defense didn't. That this rookie quarterback looked like just had more of an effect on the game.
The arm talent was insane.
Yeah,
I liked Shuck coming out of Louisville. I mean, he's been injured a whole bunch.
I don't think this guy's
whatever.
Good.
When okay, the dude was injured a ton. He was the backup for Justin Herbert at Oregon. That shows you how long the dude's been in college. He's had a bunch of injuries throughout his career, but the reason why he was a second-round pick is because he's big, he's fast, and he has plus arm. Basically everything that Bryce couldn't do. And now you see just in his second career game, he's putting up better numbers than Bryce has in almost every game of his career. This is the passing chart for Bryce. Tell me if you see one pass further than the 25-yard mark.
I mean, not a good day. Not a good day. Misses down the sideline. Not even close. And it's just strange. So maybe play calling does have something to do with it. Timing, rhythm, all of this stuff. Is that it's just strange that it's not better than this. That's all. It's not even noodle arm. That is why the hell is it not just a little bit better than this?
Why is it nowhere else on the field? Like, what I'm wondering is like, is our route tree for our wide receivers this simple that there aren't look, there's no shots on the right side of the field. There is no shots deep down the middle. There's no I don't even need
a shot. How about a 12-yard
plant? Like, what
12-yard?
Like, yeah. I feel like right now you've basically got a chart that people are going to look at and they're going to be like, okay, so we don't need players to stay back here. Number one,
this is a Teddy Bridgewater chart.
Yeah.
Dude, his longest completion.
I think that they tried to take away some of the deep, is that they, I don't know, man. Is them linebackers were dropping back deep. Right. They just couldn't do anything to force their will upon the Saints.
What was our performance from our offensive line like?
Not great.
It wasn't abysmal either. I mean, there were times when there was some missed assignments.
How many times did he get sacked?
Austin Corbett had a couple whiffs, but for the most part, they gave him enough time to be able to deliver the ball. His longest throw was a 22-yard pass down the middle to T-Mac late in the game.
Hold on, let me see sacks.
Now I also included this chart right here. Now the person who tweeted this out was showcasing JJ McCarthy, who's at the bottom. But look at Bryce Young right here in the middle, and look at all of the quarterbacks that are right around him: Joe Flacco, Justin Fields, Geno Smith, Russell Wilson.
And Geno Smith has been like the worst quarterback in the league.
Spencer Rattler, Carson Wentz,
they had 2 sacks on the day.
Yeah, that's not great, but it's not terrible.
Only 2 sacks. Yeah, that's not bad.
All right. Cody, before because we don't want to just pontificate the entire time, let's go ahead because we're going to have to. I know the callers are going to be on the trail of this discussion. We're going to talk Canales still and different things. Let's take some calls.
Sure. We only have 2 super chats on. Make sure we get them. Cody Teague with the $2 says Bryce Young is the bum wheel on the grocery cart. Thank you, Cody. And then BG with the $4.99 says please show the clip from the Stinking Truth podcast with Mark. Yeah, that's what we showed earlier.
Yeah.
If you rewind it, you can see us reacting to it. BG, we appreciate you, man. But yeah, call in to the show. This is your show to have your Panther opinions heard. The number is 252-228-5098. Tony, let's hear from these Panther fans, man.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Yo, what's up, C3?
What's up, Ant?
Charlotte. Hope your boys are, having a good Tuesday when you receive this call. I'm calling in today, Monday, the day after. It's about 2:20 here in Charlotte. Starting to get cold out, winter time, right around the corner. But I kind of just wanted to give a diagnostic of how we got here, what could we do going forward, and what this season potentially means have left. Coming off the Green Bay game was the best I've felt about a Panthers win, a Panthers team in years, man. Since probably the 2018 season when we went into Philly down 17-0 and Cam led us to a 21-point comeback. Since that moment, I haven't felt that joy where we beat a legitimate playoff contender, a number 1 overall seed in the NFL. And some credence to the Packers way. It is a week-to-week league more than ever nowadays. So anything can happen. These teams have a lot of talent. But I'm sitting here and, I just read Cody Lashney's whole thread on quarterbacks we could have had instead of Bryce Young.
Oh, yeah, I should show that.
I just want to say real quick, I think we have a great front office. I think Dan and Brandt are going to continue to build this thing to the point where it's going to be easier to slot in a quarterback with a good situation. T-Max top 14 in receiving yards with a quarterback that throws for 130 yards a game. Jalen Coker, I call him overrated. He's all right. He's a solid piece for the future. Leggett is what it is. Good offensive line, tight ends that don't get enough looks. So I think you have pieces here to drop in a quarterback. And the whole quarterback thing is, listen, we're just tired of Bryce Young. I mean, it's not like this has been the first time in the Tepper era. We've played it. We've seen it through. We haven't given up on Baker Mayfield after 6 games in this scenario. We haven't given up on Sam after 1 year. We haven't given up on Teddy after 1 year. No, we've legitimately given this guy, it's going to be 3 seasons now. After these 7 games are up. And at a point, you just have to come to the realization he's not the answer. And my solutions to that are, I'm going to call right back. I haven't called twice in a while, so bear with me. But I'm going to give my 3 main solutions on what we should do going forward.
All right, Ant, tell us what to do.
Yo, C3. All right, I'm back. So here's my thought process, right? First off, last week I brought up in the chat because some of these fans are crazy. Listen, I used to defend Bryce Young, but my defending for Bryce Young was in year one. Year one is always a year where if you're in a bad situation, it's really hard to judge the quarterback. It's the same thing with Cam Ward. That's why no one's really spoken about Cam Ward this year. He's just in an awful situation. You can't really judge him, but you can see the arm talent, etc., other things. But I brought up last week Kyler Murray. Now, Kyler Murray is another short quarterback, and he has a lot of things that Bryce Young doesn't. A strong arm, mobility, but he also doesn't have the great anticipation that Bryce Young fans claim he has. So maybe that's the guy you bring in. Does Dave Canales want to reunite with Geno Smith, a guy that had success with him and a guy that's been good the past 2 seasons outside of, Las Vegas? I think there's a bunch of things that just aren't good there. The offensive line sucks. And I just think Las Vegas is just a cursed franchise. I mean, two winning seasons in 23 years, which, I mean, we're pretty cursed too. It's been hell here. But so those are two options. Do you does Tepper maybe put his balls on the table? I've seen some reports about Joe Burrow being available this offseason. Does he go after a guy like that? Or do we make another trade for a guy we're not thinking about that needs to change his scenery?
I wanted to speak on
I don't know. But the one option I'll tell you not to do is don't draft another quarterback. The reason I say this is, one, I don't think it's very realistic that David Tepper has enough patience to sit through another 3-year process of this bullshit. And two,
or us.
Canales is going to get another year. I have my criticisms for him, but the team's most likely going to grab a win or two here down the stretch and finish with a better record than last season. So he should genuinely get another year. And for the fact that his quarterback can't throw downfield, even if I have my issues with Canales. But I just think drafting a rookie quarterback is just going to inevitably give Canales a bad chance at succeeding next year. I think the best route, in my personal opinion, is to find someone on the market that needs a change of scenery, that's operated a system before, that's had some success. Maybe a guy that's ranked in like the consensus like 18 to 22 range. Someone that can give us some average quarterback play, because Bryce Young's not even cutting it. That's my opinion on the whole situation. I know this is a long 2-part call, but I think that's where we should look for next year. As for Bryce Young, he's a great dude. He's a follower of Christ. He stands for the right things, but we don't judge him by that. His problems are on the football field. Those are my opinions. Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
Keep pounding. And Tony, I wanted to sort of talk on this for a bit too. Shout out to our boy Anthony. We're already talking about, what are the options for next year? And Tony, we talked about it a little bit on the Sunday show. Like, now there are people who are legitimately claiming, oh yeah, go get Mac Jones. And I'm like, oh, dude,
I know.
Here we are again, man, just doing the same old quarterback carousel BS. And listen, I know you mentioned Joe Burrow, Anthony. Dude, as much as I would be over the fucking moon for that, dude, I have some property on Mars to sell you. If anyone thinks that we're gonna get Joe Burrow in the offseason, or that Cincinnati would even let him go. But I mean, look, I think the fact of the matter is that we're in hell if you're talking about Dave Canales having to save his job by either getting a Matt Jones, getting a Joe Flacco, getting a Russell Wilson. God, it's just fucking disgusting, man. There are not a lot of good options if you go out and look at the free agent market for quarterbacks. Tony, I know you're a fan of Jameis Winston. We all are.
Yeah, I mean, I like him as I love him.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
I bet this is that Jameis would have thrown just as many picks as Bryce has this year.
Sure, but probably way more touchdowns too.
He would have had a couple of 3. Look, I think just having him around is fun. I mean, like, let's not act this is a solution to anything. And that the saddest part about this, and if you consistently go back to my position on the podcast of, I don't care if Bryce Young is the greatest quarterback or not. I need this mug to work. I needed him to work because I don't know how. not only personally we can continue to go through this hell that we're talking about, right? Like, how do you continue to endure? But really is that you get into this cycle right here, and dipping into the draft again is too long and too far-fetched. Like, too, you know what I mean? It's such a long shot every time. Yeah, it's like it didn't come to us naturally. So then you get back into this like retread to until you get your moment to get a guy in the draft. It's mentioned this so many times, is that being in a land with a quarterback is better than being in a land without a quarterback. And wandering through that desolate wilderness or desert of non-quarterback puts you into purgatory of trying to figure it out. I mean, and arguably probably the real true solution is to go and get a quarterback in free agency and keep Bryce Young and to create competition to where ultimately, you know what, you kind of do what Indy did this past year with homeboy. Who's the guy? The
Daniel Jones.
No, but the other guy.
Anthony Richardson.
Right. Is like going into next season, Bryce or bust is going to cause everybody misery, get everybody fired.
So, by the way, shout out to the boy White Chocolate Espresso. This is a list of the free agent quarterbacks that we're talking about. Scratch Daniel Jones. I'll bet you my left nut they're going to pay him in Indy. Aaron Rodgers, if you want to do that. Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Tyrod Taylor, Zach Wilson,
all
Joe
of these names
Flacco,
want me to vomit.
I know. Kenny Pickett, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mitchell Trubisky, Case Keenum, Trey Lance, Brandon Allen, Carson Wentz, Josh Johnson, Malik Willis, Kyle Allen, Teddy Bridgewater, and your boy Gardner Minshew.
This is hell. That's hell, because
You're
right
in hell.
there is go ahead. I'll tell you why. Is look, I think Aaron Rodgers gives you a better chance to win each and every week than Bryce Young does at this point. The problem is when you bring Aaron Rodgers in, you're not just creating competition. Like, Aaron Rodgers is going to have to be in a place because of his pedigree and whatever.
Oh, he's retiring after this year.
Probably, yeah. But he's not going to come there to maybe start. Right. Is that you kind of need a guy like Daniel Jones in this case that was needed to prove something himself too. But too many of those guys are just old on that list or busted. Like Marcus Mariota, nope. Don't want to roll with that.
Mitch Trubisky, no.
Actually, the only
Carson Wentz.
I hate to tell you, the only name up there has been that I wouldn't.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
Joe Flacco.
No, too old.
Malik Willis. Zach Wilson.
Yep, it was Zach Wilson. And not that you would believe that he would outstart Bryce. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you bring him in
competition.
There and go, yeah, it's like that's the only guy that's young enough that maybe you haven't seen enough in a right situation that could be something. I feel like we know everything about the other guys. You already know who they are, and they're Carson Wentz is a cooked shoulder, dude. You know what I'm saying? So you want to push the ball down the field. You don't bring in somebody that has that can't throw the ball any further. So to me, none of these people is like we're really in a funky situation. Maybe Geno Smith can come about, but I don't love that. I don't love anything. I think Mac Jones, I'm telling you, is going to be the name that all of a sudden gets a little buzz about a team. I don't think if the Panthers went for a quarterback in free agency, they go and say, oh, we're bringing him in to be the starter. I think you're going to have to endure a little bit longer in that kind of, we don't know who the hell it is. And again, this goes back to my point, is there's probably been, I know that our podcast has some sort of strange because everybody on this panel obviously shares only one single opinion.
Sure.
At least that's what Twitter tells us.
We're a hive mind.
There is nobody in this world that's wanted Bryce to work more than me. Like, I need it. And because here, and you're in this funky place, I think it's really hard for a team when you trade up, you invest all of that in a player trying to hit a home run or triple or double, whatever the hell we tried to hit with Bryce, to go back to the well of drafting again. You know what I mean? Like, you were burnt by the free agency, so then you went into the draft. That's what we did, like, right? I mean, after that, we didn't draft a quarterback for several years. Even if we would have been wrong on who that quarterback was, whether it was just that year, I wanted Justin Fields. We let him go by. You didn't draft him then. You tried to do the Teddy Bridgewater to the Sam Darnold, and you got burnt on that. So then you went the other way. I think it's really hard to go back into the draft. Like, could you imagine the Panthers trading up into the top 5 to take a quarterback? And then just the longevity of what it realistically takes to do that. I do think, if anything, well, maybe the question we should start asking have the Panthers and fans been fair to Bryce and the opportunity they've given him? And I don't think the answer is no. I don't think that we as a team have prematurely jettisoned the Bryce Young project. I think if you go through this year and you decide to go a different way, I don't think you can argue that it would be premature. I don't think you could say that he didn't have a fair chance. Maybe you could argue that that it wasn't the right move. But it's not like you just like gave up on project whatever. We gave up on him fast, not as fast as the Titans gave up on Levis or Malik Willis or so.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we have given Bryce Young almost every opportunity to be successful. And by the way, CK mentioned it at the start of the show, 2 first-round picks on wide receivers. And we're going to talk about XL here in a minute after a couple more calls. But you draft T-Mac when pretty much everyone's saying that we need to draft defense. You still draft an offensive weapon. You know, in free agency, you've been active. You spent over $100 million on the offensive line. I understand they've been a bit banged up, but as I showed you earlier, the offensive line, especially this year, is not the problem. It's not the problem with this offense. So it's like all of the excuses that you can make for Bryce, they've gone out the window, man. And I reiterate what I said earlier. It feels like the Overton window has shifted on Bryce after this performance, where even the people who were just, you know, bright and shiny defenders of Bryce are now starting to say, hey, man, he's okay at doing some things, but it doesn't look like he has franchise capabilities.
So tired of it's not, I know excuse sounds like this, but like the problem is, when do I see a solution? And I believe in that solution. Let's go to the next goal.
What's up, C3? It's Kyle from Spartanburg. I don't know if you guys remember, but at the beginning of the year, I called in asking for some help on my season bets for the Panthers. And I know it's a little over halfway now, but I just wanted to compare how they're doing right now and what their lines were and see if they'll make it. So Bryce Young's passing line was 3,750 yards. Currently, he's at 1,500. So really has to pick it up if he's going to reach that line. His passing touchdown line was 17.5, and currently he's at 11. So for him to reach what they projected for the season, he definitely has to start throwing the ball a lot more and getting some touchdowns. Tedoroa McMillan's receiving line was 950 yards, and he's at 618. He's definitely right there on the cusp of breaking 1,000, which I'm sure everyone would be pleased to see. And then, of course, Chuba Hubbard's rushing line was also 950, and he, of course, was replaced by Rico, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. for his mentality and everything, because if we can't re-sign Rico, of course we paid Chuba, and he will most likely be our back for the next couple of seasons. But Chuba's only at 313 yards, so he definitely won't make it. But maybe Bryce can pick it up a little bit, and Tataroa can keep balling. But all right, guys, I hope you all have a good show. See you.
Do you well pose this as a rhetorical question, because we've always dealt with this is the receivers, no downfield, no speedsters, no this, no that. I don't think that I think Tet has been great for a rookie. I mean, I don't think he's been perfect by any means. I think he's been good.
He's had more drops than XL did in his first year, to be fair.
Yeah, and I don't think XL has been very good this year by any means. Do you think is this a wide receiver problem? You know, I mean, it's like if you had like a better receiver core, would you all of a sudden see an incredible jump, or would it be like 175 yards a game?
Well, Tony, I know you're not a college football guy, but at Alabama, he had Jamison Williams the year he won the Heisman. And part of what makes Jamison Williams so good is that he wins his route early. So Bryce knows that there's separation.
Yeah.
Right. So Bryce felt very comfortable getting the ball out of his hand quick. And
that don't happen in the NFL.
No, well, it doesn't. But also, and if we're just being honest, this is part of the reason why I didn't love drafting Tataroa McMillan with the 8th overall pick in this year's draft. Not that he can't be a really good wide receiver in the NFL, but I felt like he really lacked that dynamic separation ability and that long speed that this offense specifically needed in a number one wide receiver. And that's no shot on T-Mac, but it's just I don't feel that he is the kind of wide receiver to get what you need out of Bryce Young.
If you watch that Saints game, well, I mean, everybody we watch, but like the corners played off. So, you know what I mean? Like they're playing off coverage. So you can't establish that beat like somebody's got a blown. They just playing everything soft. You know, I mean, like it's like, okay, we'll give you. That's the funny part. How about this is that, and I don't know, maybe that is, we'll take one more call and then we'll talk about Canales and the play calling and some things.
Yeah,
but
well, first we're going to get to
downfield. But if people are going if you're playing, I mean, they're giving them 7-8 yards of cushion, and somehow we're not finding a way to take advantage of that. How many teams have done that? You know, when we had defenses that couldn't stop people and you had to play that like prevent type stuff.
Yeah.
Is that they were able to take advantage of that by hitting the 10, the 12-yard routes. Where is that? Somehow none of this is working in the passing game. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not. Go, Cody, we'll take one more call and then we'll get into your discussion about, I guess, the XL play.
E3 Panther Nation. What's up, boys? It's your boy Preston from Hickory.
What's up, Preston?
Man, I'm still just not getting over the fact that, you know, Bryce is showing us week after week, really, that he's not the answer. When we've won, it's definitely not because of Bryce. And, I mean, when somebody figures out how to stop the run, he's definitely not the one that's sitting there leading us to a touchdown. We should have easily beat that Saints team. But I've done enough inventing about that. Fuck it, whatever. On to the next one. Atlanta Falcons. Before this game, after the Packers game, I'm sitting there thinking, man, this 2-game stretch, we should be 6-4 by the end of this. Back to 500. But, okay, I just need Dave Canales and Bryce Young to get on the same mother-flubbing page, man. That's what I need. I need our play caller and Bryce. I need Bryce to get his shit together. I mean, I know he's limited and all that, but if he's going to prove that he is our franchise quarterback, he most definitely needs to show us more. I know I'm not alone in that. Again, I'm on his side when he's, I'm with you when you're right. I'm on his side when he's playing well, when he's making the right decisions, when he's, you know what I'm saying? We know he's capable of doing the shit. We saw him do it at the end of last season. We know he's capable of making these plays, but make them consistently. It's like there's one thing I can't stand is when everybody's like, oh, he's too little. And then he goes out there and he proves everybody right that he's too fucking little.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, hell, at least play bigger than you are, man. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry for the vent.
No, that's what it's for, man.
I'm just a fan. I'm just a passionate fan. Hopefully we can get it done against the Falcons. I know that, I don't expect the same result. I don't expect a 30-0 blowout. But hopefully we definitely have a better showing, and Bryce, hopefully he has a better showing than he did last week. So I guess that's my time, guys. Keep pounding. Let's see if Bryce Young can keep pounding and getting better.
Keep pounding, brother. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, Tony, a lot has been made about what happened at the end of the season last year and how good Bryce looked and that they were throwing the ball downfield last year and that he was one of the best quarterbacks in doing so. But I don't know. I don't have the answers to that. All I know is that, what have you done for me lately? We have upgraded the offense. We have gotten more weapons for him. Like, you're not going to tell me, oh, this is because we traded away Adam Thielen. Like, get that shit out of here. I don't want to hear that, But, we have done what it takes. We have spent 2 first-round picks on Bryce Young, and it still isn't enough. I put this in the show because we got to talk about it. This is another thing that people are very divided on. This was towards the end of the game. And I wanted to ask you all and ask the chat who this is on. Oh, let me take this down.
I think one thing before we even play it is to look at where he's at when he's throwing this football. All right. Look, pressure coming up the middle, right? But he's able to have vision down the field when he gets to his spot here. So, yeah. All right, go ahead.
Got to win the one-on-one.
Let me turn this on.
I don't think you can. I don't know how you could throw that ball much better, to be honest.
My question is this. Is this on Excel? Was that a drop on Xavier Leggett? Or was this a bad ball by Bryce Young? And listen, I do think there are wide receivers that could have gotten that ball in the NFL, but I also think that ball is.
It's what, 6 inches off? No, fuck that. There's a little that's a little Tyrannosaurus Rex arms right there for a guy who's a giant. I don't think this is the play for me that makes me think that Bryce can't do it. This is the play that actually says.
That he's close.
Yeah. Look.
I still just think that ball should have been in front of him a little more.
In front of him?
Like, that's up and to the left.
That was up and to the right. His hand went to the.
I'm talking about whenever you see Russell Wilson, older Russell Wilson, throw those teardrop balls that go in and just drop right down into his hands. To me, that's not that. I think it was he had to do too much reacting to the ball.
Look! If you see the apex of that ball, right when it comes down, it's right in front of his helmet, right?
Yeah.
This is a like if you're talking about a
season.
Now, is this an easy catch? I don't think it's an easy catch. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it is, but this is a catch most NFL wide receivers make, right? The problem that I have again isn't with Excel here. Right. I think that he's had plenty of these where he should have been able to come down with it and he hasn't. Right. The issue is that the majority, Bryce doesn't allow his receivers to make it look easy.
I don't even think that, CK. I don't even think this would have been that hard. It's like, I mean, I'm not saying it's an easy catch by any means, but like this is just a play everybody's got to make.
Yeah,
or Cam, this is what the NFL is, and this is just what we haven't seen from any of these motherfuckers, including Bryce. Yes, we're looking and dissecting this play to the infinite of saying, oh, well, Bryce can do it. Bryce can do it. This is one of the best throws I've seen him make. It's like, man, all of a sudden that happens, that touchdown, game change. We all think differently, but it's just gotta fucking happen.
You know what?
And
this
I
makes me
think I don't think XL. I think is that I've seen other and look, and I'm not shitting on him for just not making the play. Like he can't work in the league, but we've seen people make incredible catches.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even like that was a good ball. It was catchable. It was in a play. It wasn't out of. It was not like one of these. Do you remember in week 1 or whatever? And you're like, he had these drops and he threw these like fucking hospital balls that got dropped, or that one. Do you remember the Hunter Renfro where he's like,
it's like behind him,
get jumping? This
is
it was
like 3 yards behind him.
I think this is one of the best plays.
This is, to me,
this play isn't the problem though.
What I think happened here was, I think that at least what it looks like to me is it looks like Xavier Legette maybe lost the ball in the air, and because like even with his hands goes up, it's like last second, and it's like almost like he doesn't fully extend. Like, I mean, that's the most extension you see on his arms, right? And a ball like this, like I feel like either that or he just doesn't have the body control to turn himself and get both hands on the ball in this instance. And I think both of those are still concerns from a wide receiver you drafted in the first round, whether it was the last draft of the first round or not.
Play it one more time, Cody. Who's the guy going across the top, the third?
Coker.
No, the not the one on the 20 on the 35, but he looks like he's crossing from right to left. All right, so
yeah, Horn
do you lead him there and get a first down?
Coker,
I mean, because that like is just such a low percentage throw too. I think that's a good ball, man.
It's a good ball, and honestly, that's a great read because it's 1-on-1. He had no safety over top. Like that's the correct decision. Is you have the shot down the field and you're going to take it, right? If you can make it work. And even that Coker play right there, like that dude had like just the same amount of separation that Xavier Legette, maybe even like he looked like he was jogging trying to keep up with Coker. I don't think that he could have made it into Coker.
And by the way, this is like the 3rd or 4th time that Coker was open this year, and Bryce just didn't throw the ball to him.
I think we're missing or at least maybe we're not. I hope the point that I'm trying to make is that this is the type of play right here that we're trying to find too much information in. Right, is like these are not the plays that we should really be watching. The plays that we should be watching are the ones that are like, how do you make a routine play that doesn't become an interception or doesn't that you just get something out of? Like, yeah, this could have been an exceptional play.
If this is a touchdown right here, then this changes the course of the game.
Oh, agreed. But what I'm saying is that too many people are going to say, or I think you're going to look at this and say, well, this shows Bryce could do it. This shows Bryce could do it. And I feel like these are the 5% of plays that we should be looking at. Well, the 80% of plays are when everybody is fucking up equally. I thought that was a great ball by Bryce. I think that you can find like, yeah, it didn't work. Do we need to cut XL for it? No. Do we need to cut and give up on Bryce or pay him a bag because of it?
I just don't think, listen, maybe it was a catchable ball, but I think a great ball is being too generous. That ball needs to be out in front of him more and not veering to the left.
Hold on, Cody. If that ball is
caught. Hold on. I want to hear what you got to say, CK. I put it in the chat. I put a poll. Whose fault was the botched touchdown on? 46% to 54% says Xavier Legette whiffed with 35 votes. It's still sort of right down the middle. I do agree that it was catchable, but I don't think that it was this perfect ball that was right on the money.
I think would have been worse would have underthrow that ball to throw that ball too far out the end zone is there was a chance for the play to be made.
I think
balls that are 40 yards downfield or 30, there's such low percentage. We're talking a 6-inch difference. Like, oh, you could have thrown a better ball.
But think about this. Yeah, I mean, that's that. I think again, it's a catchable ball, but I think the narrative is completely different had he caught that ball, right? I think your argument is what a perfect ball and a perfect catch. That was such a perfect play. Like Bryce Young is now all of a sudden, being lauded for that incredible throw that was made right there, right? It's all a matter of perception because it was not caught. It's now a question of who was right, who was wrong. And I think it's fair to say that maybe it could have been a more perfect ball, right? But I also know that being perfect in the NFL is hard. And a lot of what the quarterback relies on is your wide receiver coming down with the ball. And I like I said, no defense to Bryce Young. You've got to take what you can get, and he hasn't looked good. But he also hasn't had a lot of his balls that are thrown up that end up coming like that are contested balls that his guys are coming down with.
I think it's more important too to look at where he was throwing from in the pocket at that moment, or that evasion, and how he was able to get and see at that point. And those things were, that's the problem is this is like, you're not going to be in that situation all the time where, look, I mean, he did the shoulder dip. He got out there. The problem is not that. The problem aren't those low percentage plays. We can look at the 5% of plays that are drops, the 5% of plays that are like this. And what we really need to be doing is looking at the middle plays that really just give us evidence of everyday downs. 1, 2, 3 step, 1, 2, 3 step, 1, 2, and where is that? And that's where the problem, I think, truly lies. And we can get just so hyper focused into this that I think, to me, I can say this is the best ball that I've seen Bryce throw all season in a sense, but it still doesn't mean that Bryce is the answer as a quarterback. Like, is that this is actually a good play to me. Thank you, Jay-Z, for the $9.99 copay this week. Cody, let's talk a couple of play call. The discussion has not only been about Bryce Young, but the discussion has this offensive-minded quarterback coach, or our head coach in Dave Canales, given an offense. And really what it comes down to is that somehow and these are just such buzzwords, downfield. I've heard this shit too much. Is really what we just don't have is a competent passing offense. I don't need it to be. I don't think the answer is just downfield shots. I think the answer for Bryce Young, and the thing that makes me most unsettled, is that it's just not competent in moving the football continuously and consistently. But then the question comes, is that lack of explosion, the lack of downfield, is this a Bryce Young problem? Is this Dave Canales not calling the downfield? And then you get into this vortex of, is the coach not calling the downfield shots because he doesn't believe in the downfield shots, or whatever it is? And the media, while the journalists try to tell us people on Twitter and us podcasters that we're like, ooh, you guys are hyperbole people, y'all motherfuckers ask the same damn questions. Fire away, Cody.
Yeah, so this is Dave Canales, who's talking about why the passing game isn't on a better track than it is. And let's just say people did not love the answer that we've been given by Dave Canales.
In general, I think it's a group effort. Calling more of them, yes, let's get some more opportunities. We'd love to have those explosive plays come alive. I will call them more when we have more success and those things come alive for us. But we have to keep working together. We have to keep taking those shots in practice and make sure we feel comfortable with them. And certainly, for Brad and I, just looking at the pass game, the coverage contours and what they're giving us, pretty simple when they're playing single high and everyone's at the line of scrimmage. We got to make the most of those opportunities when we have them, so that we are a balanced offense. And so it does play off of the run game, which we got going. But now let's get the pass game going so we really can be attacking and the offense that I visualized for us.
So he basically said, when those plays work more, I won't call them more. And a lot of people are like, dude, what? How are they going to work more if you're not calling them more?
I think this is secret shade. I think this is shade on.
I don't think he likes Bryce as a quarterback.
Yeah, I think that when you say if they're working more and I had more belief in them, I would call them more. But I don't do that because of these limitations.
Right.
He's not what he didn't do. And I think this would be a fair criticism of Dave Canales at this point, if you really don't know what to believe, like which many of us don't, is that he didn't take accountability there. He didn't say, like I made some mistakes in this play calling. I didn't put our guys in the best situation. To me, this was a passive aggressive knock of I'm doing what is there. And if anything, I actually don't like this answer from Dave Canales because I think he has to have more confidence in the calls that he's making and the things that are happening and not saying, oh, well, it could be this if it was this or this and that. I think you just need to say, look, is our game plan didn't work. We didn't have better options. And if anything, I don't think he took enough accountability, which I also think shows that he may not think he should take accountability.
Tony, I have long since said that I do not feel like Dave Canales is trusting of his quarterback. Now, I don't 100% absolve Canales of the blame, but for a long time, I have said that I don't even know if Canales was going back to Bryce last year when, whenever media members would ask Dave if he was going to go back to Bryce when Andy Dalton was the starter, he very much seemed non-committal. Like he pretty much kind of didn't want Bryce back as the offensive, as the guy taking snaps under center. So, I just feel like there's been something brewing for a long time between Dave and Bryce. And I just feel like now it's starting to come to a head.
I think this is execution. I don't think you have to have, I think you can, we've shown that you can win in a game where you don't have 300 yards passing. You don't have to do the moments when you punt is in 5 times in a row, you just didn't execute basic plays. And so I think that the internet has gotten too hyper focused on the lack of downfield threat for the Carolina Panthers. Like, yeah, sure. I didn't think this was an explosive. People tried to shit on me and talk junk to me about like, oh, this team is just not built and not even just not built. Like the best way for Bryce to grow as a quarterback is in strong down and distance with a good running game, not playing from behind. But you know what? You were up 7 to start the game. You were down 10 to 7. You were down 3 going into the second half. The team is not just deep shots. You're not executing simple, basic passing plays. Or in this case, they took away the run game and you just couldn't overcome that with simple, basic execution. And I think that is the strongest criticism or concern about Bryce Young is not, oh, we don't have an explosive passive offense. And that's why I think we get to like where I keep saying to the XL play is you don't need that. I mean, yeah, we all want that, but can we just start with 8, 9, 12-yard completions, moving the ball, that type of thing? And that's really the problem.
Yeah, so I've also said there's routine layup throws that I feel like he's missing as well. You mentioned some of the games earlier where he missed Hunter Renfrow. He's missed T-Mac putting the ball behind him. There's just been a couple times where it's like the wide receivers that he was given to get the ball to, it's like he doesn't have chemistry with. Like I think
wish it was
probably
even
can't
that.
stand him at this point.
Well, fuck XL. Like you don't get, nobody gets to talk shit. I don't care if anybody stands.
I know that Bryce is the type of quarterback
that gets talk shit is
the
us.
most out of his talent.
suffering, but I don't think it's even layup stuff. For me, the most maddening shit for Bryce Young is like, how are we still having these terrible turnovers? I don't need a guy who's turnover free, but at what point do you move the ball a little bit and not have these ugly fucking turnovers? And you go back to that first interception that was negated. They're still fucking just miserable. Even the sack, there was a 15-yard sack, and it's just like, geez, there's at no point.
Yeah.
At no point do we get any faith. Cody, let's go back. Let's hit the Hope Man up real quick.
Hope Dilla, what's up?
Okay, Tony Dunn, Cody Lack, the C3 Legion. What up, guys? It's the Hope Dilla checking in real quick. Hey, so I was listening to Canales' recent presser, and he was talking about, some of the things that they need to evaluate as far as preparation for the game. And he had mentioned that maybe the Victory Monday celebration was a detriment and that they were evaluating what they should do or something like that. And I was just thinking, if Victory Monday is going to cause them to underperform like they did with the Saints, that's embarrassing, man.
Yes, perfect timing.
I mean, hey, if you need to do away with it, do away with it. But it's just crazy, the lack of preparation. Doesn't make any sense.
Dude.
But hey, as far as Bryce, I was thinking, man, for everything that we gave up to get this kid, and the fact that he's midway through year 3 now, we have a large enough sample size to know who Bryce Young is.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look like he's it. But I do got a question for y'all.
Sure.
It seems like the media always seems to sympathize with Bryce. So what is it going to take, y'all think, for the media to bail on Bryce? How many 100-yard games with the turnover
starting to
will it take to change that perception that it's not Bryce's fault? Give me y'all thoughts on that. But hey, once again, it's the Hope Dilla. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Keep pounding.
Hope Dilla, my brother. Appreciate you, man. Tony, real quick. In preparation for tonight's show, I'm putting stuff together, and we're getting ready to talk about Victory Mondays and what 3 of these players have said about Dave Canales. It's genuinely mind-blowing to me.
This is scary.
But it really is. But VR asked, when does the media start to sort of turn on Bryce? And when I was preparing the show tonight, I was looking through different articles and seeing the sheer number of them that were saying Bryce needs competition going into year 4, or here are some quarterbacks that the Panthers could draft this year to provide competition for Bryce, or here are some of the free agents that the Panthers should look at to bring in to push Bryce. I feel like it has started, Hope Dealer, and that's why I've said earlier in the show that Tony, to me, after this performance against the 1-8 Saints, to me, the Overton window on the discussion of Bryce Young has shifted. Now there are people all over media and all over Panther fandom that are now saying, okay, man, we have seen enough of a sample size to be able to look at Bryce and saying that he is missing some clear layups and he is clearly not doing all the things that are required of a franchise quarterback. We played you the clip of Mark Schlereth telling them that the Saints were daring Bryce Young to beat them on the field, and he just could not do it. And they were prepared to do that, and that's what they did, and it was successful. Bryce Young could not beat them on the field.
I think when it comes to what that fulcrum point, and also what is the Overton window?
The Overton window is when time goes long enough to shift public perception on a specific narrative. So over time, people might feel one way about a certain topic, but then when you give it a few years, the Overton window moves, and now the general consensus is just not what it originally was.
All right. I think where that, and to answer the Hope Dealer, for me answering that is, if you had Joe Flacco, would you have been a better team today? That's the kind of where it's like now it's not about the hope and the upside of Bryce. Is like, could somebody who you don't have a future with be better on a weekly basis, not thinking about next year or next week? Is that, are your receivers trash? Are your tight ends okay? Is this all these different whatever ifs? Is, to me, now the thing is could you have a better than mid quarterback, and could they give you an equal or slightly better product? So to me, that's where that Overton window is coming in.
Sure.
Is not about Bryce's future now. It's about, like, man, if you had Joe Flacco, who's 40 fucking years old, could he do more with this team?
Yeah.
So
And
Tony,
that's where I would say, like, that's
Yeah.
the problem now.
So, Tony, the official definition of the Overton window: the Overton window is the range of subjects and arguments politically acceptable to the mainstream population at a given time. So it comes from politics, but the sense that at one point in time it wasn't acceptable to say Bryce Young was a bust and that he didn't have what it takes to be a franchise quarterback in the NFL. But now that we've seen, 3 years of play from Bryce, now it is acceptable to say, okay, we're still not seeing enough from this quarterback. Now the pushback is real.
All
So
right. We're pounding through the calls now. We're just going through the calls.
Yo, bro. Oh, this nigga Bryce Christopher Young. Not a fucking thing. I don't owe this nigga shit. Oh, this nigga shit.
What's up?
Lou from Fort Myers.
What's up, Lou?
Bruh, this nigga Bryce Young, I've been said this shit at the beginning of the season. Bryce Noodle Arm Young. This nigga fucking ass, nigga. Been said that shit, bro. And only reason why I wasn't really talking my shit on him, because he was winning games, bro. So, like, okay, at least he not throwing us out the fucking game. But this nigga can't even throw us in one. Bro. I mean, it's time, bro. I take the dude from Oregon. I take his ass over Bryce Young any day.
Oh.
Shit. Give me the nigga from Texas Tech.
Oh.
Shit. I say, bro, we trade Bryce Young, get whatever the fuck we get, and get 4 rookie quarterbacks. Do what the fucking the Browns did. Shit, you can't go wrong. We should have took Shador. Fuck. Shador was there for many rounds. Should have took his ass. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking year 3 Bryce Young from the cook. We beat the Packers. I'm like, okay, shit. I mean, he didn't beat the Packers, but we beat the Packers. So, like, he part of the we, but he really ain't. This nigga almost as useless as the fucking kicker, bro.
Oh, shit.
Damn, bro. And the kicker actually good this year, bro. Fuck, bro. Have fucking Eddie Pinheiro throw the fucking ball.
Also,
That's
every time
fucking
I
great.
use bro, also is
Damn, bro.
like there's an equation for how
Nigga
frustrated I
Bryce
am.
Christopher Young gotta go, bro. Release Kendall Hooker. I ain't gonna even say throw Jack Plummer in there. His ass was dog shit too. But like, who is our quarterback coach, and why are they not assessing these players? I saw what Andy Dalton did when Bryce had that ankle injury. I was like, nah, bro. I'll bring back Bryce. I honestly felt like if Bryce was in that game, we would have had a fighting chance. But, dog, I don't know, bro. I think he's traumatized. Used and abused, and all types of shit. And now his ass is trash, bro. It's
All
like
right.
the one.
Thanks for the call. We're going to Lucas.
Appreciate you, Lou. It's Lucas from Far City. I want the Bryce lovers to wake up. Bryce can barely throw for 100 yards in the NFL, and people still worship him like he's Cam Newton. Listen, Bryce fans, I got a young jersey.
I went to Wofford to see the kid his rookie year.
Do you see why
And I went
love
to Monday
Cam
Night
Newton so
Football
much, folks?
against the Saints his rookie year for his first home game at the bank. It was electric, one of the coolest experiences I had. Even though we lost, awesome. So I was just like y'all once upon a time. But guess what? I eventually woke up. I hope y'all do too. Keep pounding. Go Panthers.
Thank you. Do you guys see where my love for Cam comes
Tony,
from?
you're
folks?
preaching to the choir,
Do you
bro.
really see? It's like
Me and you are the OG Cam sexuals, bro.
God. Next.
I
call.
miss him
The
so
answer
much,
is
man.
no. Is Bryce Young's fifth year even an option? The answer is no. So tell me, if you were GM Dunn or GM Lashney, tell me, what would you do with your first round pick? What would you do with the second round pick? And who would you cut from the Carolina Panthers? Who would you sign to a long-term deal? Bye-bye.
All right. My answer is this: is you go and draft a linebacker. You're sitting at 15, maybe 12. Who knows where we're going to finish? Draft a linebacker. Get out of the idea that a quarterback this and that. I think you keep Bryce Young on the team because, and say, hey, we are going to continue to endure until we should door.
I will say this.
Or Mac. I think you just bring in something what would be the harm? What would be the harm?
I will tell you this, and people aren't gonna like it, but if it's available, we probably should. At the start of this season, one of the best quarterbacks in the draft was the Penn State quarterback named Drew Aller. Sometime this season, he got hurt. Now he's out for the year, and he came back to play football. So he could have came out the year before, decided to come back for his senior season. If he's in the draft and he falls to the second or third round, we're talking 6'5", big time arm talent, pro style offense. If he's there and he's available, I think that maybe the Panthers should take a gamble. And I think Canales might be in a position where he wants his own quarterback.
All right, next call.
Hey guys, John B. Jenkins here, calling in with another update on an alternative football league.
What's up, John B?
Maybe a little something to take your mind off the druthers of what it is to be a Panthers fan and what it is to care so much about our beloved team. And don't get me wrong, I'm right there with you. I care way too much about this damn team, but you know what? I was in 7th grade when they came into town in '94, and I'm going to be a fan until I die. But look towards the future, my friends, because hope is on the horizon. For one, the Canadian Super Bowl is this weekend, and you can watch it here in the United States if you have CBS Sports Network. It is coming on at 6 p.m. on Sunday. It will be featuring the Montreal Alouettes, which I think is a type of a bird, and against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And the Roughriders are the team that longtime UNC quarterback Darian Durant went on to play for in the CFL and win several Grey Cups with. Well, anyway, they're back in the Grey Cup. This is the 112th Grey Cup. Check it out if you want to watch something different Sunday night. In the spring, yes, we have spring football on the horizon. Those leagues are going to be starting up right at the beginning of March with the National Arena League, the UFL, the ELF, the EFA. A lot of football that will take us all the way through the summer and into the start of regular season in September. So look for more updates as they come along, but do not fret with this Panthers team. There is hope on the horizon in the form of alternative leagues where we don't have to give a shit about who wins the game. We can just sit there and watch the game and enjoy it. That's all I got for you guys tonight.
Appreciate you, bro.
As always, keep pounding Carolina Panthers. Keep pounding Panthers Raw. Go fish.
Go fish.
Keep pounding C3 Panthers Podcast. John B. Jenkins out.
Keep pounding, John B. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, let's go to Joey, the Blind Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Hey guys, it's the girl that makes them howl, aka Joey the Blind Panther. Girl, I was thinking today, and I still put a majority of this game on Bryce Young. And the reason I do that is because a quarterback is supposed to elevate the surrounding talent. And Bryce did not do that. Bryce has not done that. You cannot say that Ketero McMillan, Jalen Coker, Jatavion Sanders, definitely excel, okay, and Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard. You can't say any of Tommy Tremble. You can't say any of those guys are better because of Bryce Young. They're just good at fucking playing football.
Yep.
Because Bryce is not as good at playing football as they are. We've had 3 years with this guy. It's the same shit. Yeah, he's gonna have a game where he turns it on. He's gonna throw for like 200 yards or some shit next week, or some game that doesn't mean anything. We're all gonna be saying, "Oh yeah, Bryce." Still saying Bryce Young. Still gonna give us this shit, and it's just, I'm sick of the Rorschach test, man. I want a quarterback who's actually fucking good, no matter how you slice it.
Shout out to Joey.
Come with this shit. I don't care.
You
how
remembered I said Rorschach
quarterback. I don't care if you go free agency. I don't care if you go to the draft. I don't care what you do. Just get a quarterback who could be a quarterback. Anyway, and Dave Canales. How can Dave Canales call plays and run the offense that he wants to run when we've got a quarterback who, as we discussed, is not good at being a quarterback? It's not his fault, and he's probably going to get screwed because that's just the way shit works. Look at Brian Daboll. But he's probably going to get screwed because of that, and I feel bad for him because it's not his fault. Anyway, guys. Wow.
Wow.
All right. Any thoughts on that? Or are we rolling to the next call?
We're rolling. Just let me know when you want to get back into the.
Let's go, because we got to rock. I got to get out of here in a few
Yo,
minutes.
T3 is nowhere here, man. Holy dumpster fire, bro. That was one of a trash game by Bryce Young and Dave Canales. I feel like, me personally, Dave Canales' play calling is not aggressive. For Bryce Young, I feel like we're playing baby plays because Dave Canales do not trust in Bryce Young right now, and quite frankly, I feel like that is not good. I feel like with this NFL draft, we should exercise Bryce Young's fifth-year option because there's nobody that I think that can make a big impact to help the Carolina Panthers. So I think that might be Bryce's saving grace is this draft class. I think we should bring in some type of competition in here, so hopefully that can fire up something in Bryce Young. Because obviously we seen in these last 5 games that we won, we have something there. But the Saints just showed the whole NFL how to stop us. If we stop the run, we can't rely on Bryce Young's arm to get the job done. And quite frankly, that's sad. So now when we play the Falcons, they know, all right, you got to shut down Rico. We shut down Rico, we win. That's basically how we're about to hold our division on in these next couple of games we're about to go. And but yeah, it's just a holy dumpster fire. But I see y'all Friday night. Hopefully, be on the free for all.
Yes, sir.
Night.
All
Appreciate
right.
you, Noah.
Last 2 calls.
Real quick, this is me, C-Dog 1983 TV. Whenever you come in here, can you please hit the like button? Can you please subscribe to the great content? The C3 Podcast is the longest running Panthers podcast on YouTube. But, man, I'll make this short and sweet. Very disappointed losing to the Saints this past Sunday. Very, very fucking disappointed, man. Matter of fact, man, The Panthers will be here Sunday in Atlanta. This is going to be the first time in a long time I will not be going to the game, and I live here. This is a waste of my money, man, at this point. I'm not buying no more tickets to the game until we get another fucking quarterback. As long as Bryce Young is the quarterback, I'm not spending no more money to go to the game. That's just me personally. I don't give a fuck how nobody feels my fucking money. I'm tired. You know what? I haven't, since Cam Newton has been gone, I have not been to a game, and we've won a fucking game. That means I done spent
a lot of money.
$2,000-$3,000. I know over $2,000-$3,000 in tickets, and I have not seen a fucking W.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
just tired, man. I'm gonna be doing something else with my fucking time. I'll sit at home. I can watch the fucking game at home, whatever. You know, then spending my hard-earned fucking money to go to a game and watch fucking bullshit. I'm just tired of the bullshit, man. I work too hard for my fucking money. But thank God for C3 Podcast and the therapy session. You know,
True.
but I hope everybody have a great week, and I just hope everybody keep pounding, man. But like I said, I'm done with Bryce Young. Until we get a different quarterback, I will not be attending Panther games. I might attend one more game, the Tampa Bay game, just because I've never been in Tampa Bay. That's just a goddamn. It'd be just a little vacation or whatever. I don't know. I have no expectation of us beating the fucking Buccaneers the last game of the season. But anyways, man, C3 Podcast is the longest running Panthers podcast on YouTube. They go live every Tuesday. They got a free for all every Friday. You know what I'm saying? They got a game recap every Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate you, bro.
You know, you already know how we coming, man. Real quick, man. Sheena Quick and C Dougie. Fuck Sheena Quick. Fuck C Dougie. I always fuck with goddamn Cody Lack. Cody Lack ain't never fuck with nobody.
My dog. Appreciate you, bro.
Podcast is the longest running Panthers podcast on YouTube. Everybody have a great week. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding, C dog. That's my
right,
guy right there, man.
Brand ambassador. One more call.
Hello, this is Michael Weidrake.
What's up, Michael?
I have to say right now, Bryce ain't it. 1, 2, he ain't no fucking king to me. 3, he's just a fucking pussy ass bitch that loves to fucking cry on that fucking football field like a bitch. And then also, he's a fucking queen. That's what queens do. They bitch. Keep pounding, boys.
Princess Bryce. All right.
Appreciate you, Michael.
All right.
Tony, it's your birthday, man. You need to get out of here. Me and CK can
do actually, because
things,
I still
man.
have some work to be done. But I want to just real quick throw up the prediction model. Let's jump ahead. Here's the thing: is I think the Panthers can't. I mean, I think the Panthers can beat. Right now, they're on the road against the Falcons. They're 3.5-point dogs. I don't feel like it's like after that Buffalo game, I didn't think my real position on the team, and Ricky said this is it Ricky Raines I said I don't really change who this team is. The team is pretty good on defense, can run the ball, can do the things. I think the Panthers can go on the road and win. I do think they can. I think the point though that I have a problem with rocking with right now is that at what point does just my heart overcome my head?
Yeah.
And the Panthers won a game in Green Bay that they shouldn't have won, or then that's what you need this team to do each and every week. And so the Panthers can win against the Falcons. They probably shouldn't. And I think the Panthers are far better than they played against the Saints. I'm just not picking them. I really, in my heart, believe the Panthers. And it's going to be sad because the Panthers are going to bounce back. You know what? Fuck it. This is my birthday.
Yeah, man.
It's my birthday. You know
it's
what?
Your birthday,
man.
With
my heart rather than my head. I'm picking the Panthers on the road to win. I just think if they do it, it's not going to change anything about how we truly it's not going to overcome any question or answer any question about this team at any point. And that's the sad part, is I thought this Saints game was going to help me answer questions or reduce questions about this team and about what they should do next year at the quarterback, at the coach position. And the questions were not answered. They just continued to exist. Picking the Panthers to win, heart overhead in that case. My ice up pick though for you guys is and I know like everybody gets so irritated, and I do not like Donald Trump. Like, I'm not a Trump fan. No, I'm just not a Trump fan. I'm not like a anything fan, but like
if it gives me $2,000, I might be.
I'm not a fan of any of these motherfuckers, but I just feel like I saw these tweets out here today. It's like, I don't want my football politicized by having him talk on
Pat McAfee.
No, I mean, I just saw these tweets about like, oh, he shouldn't have talked during Monday Night Football, and that like leave this out. And he's talking about the economy, and then other people are talking about like, oh, Obama didn't do this. Guess what? I don't give a shit about any of this. And like the fact that all of these motherfuckers give so much shits about any of this, that you're so triggered by everything. To me, it's kind of like that XL play, CK. It's like, I mean, like, let's just find real shit to talk about. So, ice up to that.
It just shows that the system is working as according to plan, causing all of us to be at each other's throats over something as silly as a dude talking in front of people.
I mean, I do think it is wild that they were like, hey, let's let them call a couple plays.
Oh, I didn't even say like, why does it like we're so bothered by everything? And I don't even like people like any of these mods. I haven't even paid attention to any of this shit. I haven't paid attention to any of it. It's like, let's Cody's used the term virtue signaling in the past. I don't think this is virtue signaling. It's like, just be bothered about real shit.
Yeah.
And then like everybody's just crying. And I think that creeps into the Bryce Young conversation. Is like, because then people don't even trust your criticism because they think you're crying wolf or this or that. Like, folks, fucking be bothered by real shit, not by everything. If you're bothered by everything, your life is fucking miserable.
Tony,
that's it.
Appreciate you, brother. Have a wonderful happy birthday. Before you go,
very much.
Before you go, I promise.
Oh yeah. Oh, tell me about this. Oh no, I saw this about the clip where the girl said
dude. So listen, what we never knew about Matt Khalil, why he was so terrible in pass protection, was because he was carrying a big ass dick around, bro. It was too heavy for him to get back in his pass sets, man. NFL star Matt Khalil offered $300K after ex-wife reveals about his manhood, saying that it was basically the downfall of their relationship, that it was just too big, that he has a 0.01. He has a 0.01% of the population. Dick. Dude, they said that they tried to liposuction his dick to make it smaller than it is.
This shit, comments, that video that came out, the comments in it, because people are like, oh no, this, like everybody, and she was like, it's hilarious. This is the most hilarious, and like, what she said, he's part of the point.
Yeah, but 0.01% of the population. Dude, Pentagon. Wait, no, let me see who said it. Duke Thunder says picture it didn't happen. Dude.
Gosh,
the fact that his ex-wife though chose to go on someone's stream and just air him out like that, that's kind of fucked up, and it just shows you how everyone is such an
she did him a favor.
Like, world.
She did him a favor. Is like he's running up behind girls that Shaq was behind, and they're like, with no problem.
Dude, but at least we know why he was so terrible in pass protection. Just that big old.
He was setting the wrong legs, dude.
Gosh. All right. That's funny.
Panther Gal and Sea Dog donated $2 to wish you a happy birthday. Tony, have a wonderful night, man. We love you,
guys.
brother. Me and CK will pound out the rest of the show
Appreciate
from
it, man.
here.
Y'all
Love
be
you,
good.
man. Yes, sir.
Peace out.
Peace out. All right, CK. Let's run through the rest of this and get to going. So listen, we have to talk about basically what was one of the wildest stories in Panthers Nation. CK, not one, not two, but 3 players came out and said that the preparation on this team going into this game was abysmal. Kim Kwanu said this, JT Sanders said this, and Nick Gordon said this. I'll play the video of it in a second. This is what Nick Gordon had to say. I think some guys got too big-headed and forgot what really goes on in the NFL. Like I said, I haven't been here so long, so I can't speak on what it's supposed to look like. But I know what we're supposed to look like because I work hard myself. I'm still trying to figure this out being a rookie. I don't know how later in the season NFL practices are supposed to be, but I think it was just before the game. I got here early, and it was just a little quiet. It didn't seem right. I felt like the energy was off in the morning. And like I said, dude, this was multiple people that have said this. After the talk, the Carolina Panthers' shocking loss to the New Orleans Saints centered on a lack of professionalism and taking their own opponent lightly, standards slipped as everyone got whopped in their positive headlines. They wrapped up in the positive headlines. They paid a heavy price. Players spoke openly about this after the game. Kim Kwanu, Nick Gordon, and tight end Jatavion Sanders all hinted that things weren't as they seemed in the days before and in the hours leading up to the game. Head coach Dave Canales and other established figures spoke about what they need to stay focused. CK, in your opinion, how egregious is it that the Panthers were playing a division rival and Dave Canales had them come out just absolutely flat? Why don't you give me your opinion? I'm going to pull up Canales' response to this story and to what those guys said.
I think that it's starting to tell me that there might be some breakdown in the locker room. Number one. Number two, I think it shows that we have a dog in Nick Gordon and maybe even Ike Ekwonu. These guys seem to be really pushing to be leaders on this team. And, big fan of seeing what they've been able to accomplish so far in the season. But, I think that it's a legitimate concern. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. I think if you're week 9 of the season and you're going into week 10 and your thoughts are we're going up against a divisional opponent, we can take our foot off the gas. That's a major mistake. I also think it probably has a little bit to do with the fact that we have such a late bye week. And, in the next coming weeks is finally we're going to have a little bit of a rest. But that could also be a contributing factor. These guys it's already 10 games they have played without a single break. That is a murder's row of games that you're playing. And ideally you want to be at that 8 to 9 week. And so they're really, I think, probably playing a little bit into that situation where we're feeling a little bit sluggish probably. So hopefully bye week will fix some of that, but it's a concern nonetheless to say from Dave Canales' standpoint that you're going to let your guys go out there and execute. And I feel like it's a coach's job to rile up your players to get them from where they may not be feeling at the highest level of energy. You've got to get them there. You've got to motivate them.
Right.
And
You're
don't know
the leader of the football team.
Right. And instead, what they did this time is they got, Michael Key to come in and talk to him on that Zoom meeting and all that stuff. While that's all cool and all, but it's just, it's we're back to, okay, we were starting to feel good about ourselves. We were starting to start talking to the press. JC Horns talking to Kay Adams, all this stuff, right? And now we are all those,
Yeah.
you know, this entire team looked bad. Like not just one piece. I mean, like there was some concerns on all,
Yeah,
like
from top to bottom, offensively and defensively. CK, I have a lot of thoughts about this, but I want to play what Dave Canales had to say about this because they did ask him, since multiple people brought it up. They brought it straight to Dave, and this is what he had to say.
We just have a standard for how we work, and when it's not up to standard, it's my job as a head coach to make sure they're aware of it. I made them aware of it, and you know, I've been in the league for a while now, and I've seen sometimes you have a bad practice and you play great on Sunday. Sometimes there's a fantastic practice and you don't get the results you want. So I have to look at both things. But when there's a similarity and it leads to something, it gives me an opportunity to point to the fact that every single week is a championship opportunity. Every opponent requires all we have in our focus and our energy to getting prepared for those games.
CK, I swear to God, I want to be the head coach of this team so bad. Maybe a bunch of people would not want me to do that, but CK, I am of the mindset that whenever you're playing your division rival, that is your job as a coach to make sure that these games count for more. Your job to get to the playoffs is to win your division. And when you have a lackadaisical week of practice, when you're going up against a team that is hungry for a victory, they were 1-8 at the time, and you have your team so ill prepared. And Kim Aquanu said that Dave Canales did pull them aside after one of the practices this week and said that the energy just wasn't up to par. To me, this is one of the real critiques I have of Dave. If you want to say that the play calling has been bad, that's fine. But the preparedness of the team is literally why you are paid millions of dollars to be an NFL head coach. And the fact that he does not have this team ready to run through a fucking wall to face their division rival New Orleans Saints, it just drives me mad, man. Also, someone asked the players in the locker room, do you feel like this is a big rivalry between the Panthers and the New Orleans Saints? And most of them said no. And I understand that there's a lot of younger players on this team, okay, that haven't been here through the rivalry. But just out of principle, knowing that you're facing a division opponent and that there is a storied rivalry between these two teams, whether or not you were or weren't a part of it, everything about your preparation should be geared towards, yeah, this is a division rival. The games count for even more than a normal game because we have to win our division. This is something that you would call a trap game because they're hungry for the victory that they have not had a bunch of. To me, this makes me question what kind of leadership we actually have in Dave Canales going forward. Like this, I question him more about shit like this than I do about play calling through 10 or 11 weeks of the season now.
Yeah, I mean, that's I think it's a fair criticism to have. You know, it feels as though anytime we win a game that's like seems like it's really important, we follow it up with a horrendous showing. And I don't know, it does feel like maybe this team, like Derek Brown talked about it, you know, like we don't want to be what do you mean Victory Monday? We don't, you know, he doesn't essentially treat anything like Victory Monday, which is why the dude shows up every single time on the week, every single week on tape, right? But I think that if this team wants to grow, we need to stop taking victories as a way to take a break, right? That you can't do that. Like, you know, I think the Victory Monday thing needs to end. I think that they need to just be focused until we are a good team that can show that we can have a day off and it matter and it actually help us. Then I don't think that we need to be taking any extra time. That bye week, unless you're Derek Brown or anybody who's been performing at a high level, like you better be in that facility for 2 weeks straight. I know that that's not technically what they're supposed to do during a bye week, but like at this point in time, this team does not feel as though it's ready to be able to relax at any stage.
Who feels like the Carolina Panthers are good enough to have earned Victory Mondays? Like, give me a fucking break, dude. It's like You're in second place in the division. Yeah, you've won a couple games, but you have by no means blown the socks off of anyone. You barely beat the New York Jets. You were in a very close game with the Green Bay Packers. Now everyone all of a sudden likes the smell of their own shit. Dude, it's embarrassing to me, CK, and it sort of leads into the next topic that we have up, which is about JC Horn and the defense. To me, it's like a compound effect. When you have a bad week of practice and the players are lackadaisical going into the week, well, now you're in a position where even your best players are kind of doomed to have bad performances. JC Horn, this is from Garrett Klaus of Catgrave, says JC Horn's tough game shines a light on troubling Panthers flaws. It was something Panthers fans haven't seen since Horn arrived in 2021. The team's best defensive player becoming the weakest link in the moments that decided the outcome. Horn's self-critique after was blunt. He said that's what the game came down to. 2 big plays. The Carolina Panthers are not good enough to compensate for bad JC Horn games. The first was the 62-yard touchdown to wide receiver Chris Olave, at which full speed looked like a push-off, as I do still kind of feel like it was a push-off. Horn slipped, looked around for a pass interference call, but the flag never came. The second touchdown was uglier. Tight end Juwan Johnson caught a pass underneath with nothing green ahead after Horn slipped again. I won't read the whole thing, CK, but I think that it bears repeating what we said earlier. When your best defensive players are going out and laying an egg, your offense is not built up in a way to compensate for that. So there's no margin of error, or the margin of error is so small that there is no room for any of this. And I feel if Dave Canales knew that the energy levels weren't right in the middle of the week, that there should have been an emphasis on making sure that the team was ready to go to run through a wall before the game on Sunday.
Yeah, it did feel from start to finish, it felt like there was no energy, just based on when you're listening to the broadcast, you can almost feel like the energy that the players have on the field based on how the inflection of Jake Delhomme and those guys are, and Luke, right? And that just never, like, it just felt like they were bored watching the game.
Yeah.
Like, even with the Panthers scoring that touchdown, like, they were excited about the touchdown, but like all the way up into, like, you have that interception that was called back that ended up, obviously being a pass interference or roughing the passer. Like, it was they weren't talking about like, oh, thank God it was like, that was a bad decision. Like, we got bailed out bad. Like, that was really, like, it was just, they were flat, which tells me that the players on the field weren't showing up with much energy either.
Yeah, and like I said, I do feel like that first play, where the Tyler Shuck threw a bomb to Chris Olave, it was a push off, but it was also kind of ticky-tack, so it wasn't the most egregious non-call that I've ever seen.
It wouldn't have been overturned.
Right.
Like, it could have been gone either way, is what you're saying.
Sure. But, dude, slipping in the end zone on Juwan Johnson, to me, that was far more egregious. And it sucks, man, because really, right now, JC Horn is tied for the most interceptions of any NFL DB with 3 on the year. So,
which is wild. That feels really low halfway through the season, by the way.
Yeah, I know. But, dude, the fact that he's in that consideration, that he has that number of interceptions, it does speak to how good he has been playing. And for this to sort of kind of dampen his 2025 campaign, it sucks, man, because that's one of the stories of the game on defense, is how bad JC Horn ultimately played. He's going to need a bounce back game, I feel, to regain some of the trust that we have pretty much built up in him throughout the start of the season this year. I quickly threw up a power rankings here, CK. The Panthers, according to Pro Football Talk, are ranked at number 19. They have us ahead of Minnesota, the Falcons, the Cardinals, the Cowboys, and the Bengals. You see the rest of the list right there. I don't have too many gripes with this, but I feel like we were trending upward.
Yeah,
but
we
now
were
mostly everyone views us as a bottom half of the NFL type team.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. I mean, given the people that are ahead of us, certainly feel as though they are our better teams. Like if we went up against any of these, which by the way, we're going up against the majority of our entire games are against teams on the other half of this list here.
Seattle, Tampa.
Most concerning of which is the Rams in my mind. The Seahawks are a big deal, but the Rams right now, they look just. If you're worried about what J.C. Horn did today, I can't imagine what he's going to look like against the Rams with Matthew Stafford slinging the rock like he is right now.
Matthew Stafford and Drake May are probably the two front runners to be the NFL MVP.
If it's not right now, based on everything, if it's not Matt Stafford, I mean, Drake May's doing great things. Don't get me wrong, but Matthew Stafford is like a demon right now.
Yeah, I think he hasn't had a game in the past number of weeks where he didn't throw at least 3 touchdowns.
Yes, and he's on my fantasy league.
Yeah, same with me, man. He's in our in my dynasty league. Yeah, dude, this is but the Panthers are trending in the wrong direction, and when you lose to a 1-8 team, like the Saints are 30th on this list, and they walked into our home, walked into our trap, took over our trap, bro, and they put it to us at home. We need a bounce back game.
What was the more embarrassing game? Was it the Bills and Dolphins or the Panthers and Saints? I think it was the Bills Dolphins personally.
Yeah, probably the Bills Dolphins. However,
that was like a blowout.
Yeah, also the Bills are one of the best teams in football. Or supposedly they're one of the best teams in football. PFT has them at number 12 right now. But yeah, I mean, dude, when you lose to right now, the New Orleans Saints still have the 2nd pick in the draft. Just to show you what record we were dealing with New Orleans. Dude, just embarrassing on so many levels. Tony added this, the Carolina Panthers end of season outcomes. We have a 1% chance to be division champ with the number 1 seed in a bye. 10%.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, 10% chance to be the division champ with the number 2, 3, or 4 seed. 4% chance for a wild card. 86 is between pick 2 and 18 in the draft, and we have a 1% chance to be the number 1 overall pick. So this is sort of what we're talking about. If you wanted to replace Bryce Young this year, it's a terrible year to do it because the free agent quarterbacks are not very good, and you're probably not going to have a very good pick in the draft. I mean, 2 and 18, you could pick up a quarterback there, but this is also really not the year for that.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's only a 1% chance, well, that's just to be the number 1 seed, but even a 10% chance to be a division champ.
That's less than a 1%, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not even a 1%.
Oh, you're right. That is less than 1%. Shit, bro.
So it's not even, but we have a 14% chance of making the playoffs, which, by the way, I've bet on worse odds than that. So, like, it's, that's not, like, it doesn't bode well, but I'll tell you what, like, even if the season ended and we have won 7 out of our 18 games and we're 7-11, right? I think that, again, progress, you're talking about a much different. I think that's the only credit you can give to Bryce or to Dave Canales in all of this is knowing that, we're winning even with a big question mark at quarterback, because that doesn't normally happen in the NFL unless you're the Steelers.
Yeah. Dude, this is a must-win matchup this week's game. We beat the Atlanta Falcons 30-0. And we've said on the podcast before that traditionally we flip-flop with the Falcons, meaning they will beat us at our crib, then we'll go to their crib and beat them.
Yeah.
However, this year we beat them 30-0 in Bank of America Stadium. Right now, the Falcons are 3-5. If we're going to stay alive in this division where Atlanta lost and Tampa Bay lost, this is a must-have It's a must-have game for the Panthers. We have to be 6-5 to basically salvage our season. Because if the Falcons figure out how to deal with this, we're in for a heap of trouble, dude. This is Know Your Foe, brought to you by Panthers.com. The Penix and London connection. Quarterback Michael Penix and receiver Drake London have established a connection that can define an era for a team. Since Michael Penix Jr.'s first career start in Week 16, 2024, they have the second most yards for a quarterback wide receiver duo who have connected for 1,034 yards behind Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith and Jigba. After a dynamic 3-touchdown day against the Patriots last week, the two connected for 6 receptions, 104 yards, 1 touchdown against the Colts. It was the 4th game this season that London posted 100-plus yards. CK, we were talking about J.C. Horn. If he's going to have a bounce-back game, this is the opportunity for him to do it. J.C. Horn had the seatbelt on Drake London in their first matchup. Did you feel that he's going to be able to do that again?
I think J.C. Horn isn't going to have another game like he did last week. I think this is definitely going to be a game where he bounces back. The question becomes, are we going to be able to hold Bijan Robinson down like we did last time? Right now, he still had a decent day. Don't get me wrong; he did over 100 scrimmage yards, but that dude is. As much as I hate to say it, that dude is probably one of the most dynamic running backs I have ever seen. It is scary. And honestly, when I look at this Atlanta team, it doesn't make sense to me how they are so inconsistent because they have weapons at every position. It's just unbelievable. And it's concerning because it's almost as though the only thing that holds them back is literally coaching and mental mistakes. And that's a legitimate concern that, could very well play into our favor. But I don't know what to expect from this, but I think that J.C. Horn has a bounce back game, but I'm worried that this run defense is going to just, it's going to be bad.
I don't know, man. We were able to shut it down last time we played them, but I also feel like, and remember, I was at that game, CK. I feel like Michael Penix had a bunch of open receivers that he just didn't see and didn't hit, didn't take care of the football. He threw that pick 6. It was bad. It was bad for them. But I do agree that if they're going to have any chance of beating us, it's going to be running the football between Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier.
Yeah, I think it's going to be keeping Drake London, just moving him on the opposite side of the field of J.C. Horn. I think it's a possibility that Mike Jack has another bad day, to be fair. But I also agree. I think a lot of the reason that they lost the way they did was just mainly on Michael Penix. And I've seen he followed that week up by being just incredible against the Bills. And even in the games they've lost this year, they've held their own against teams that they should have been blown out by on paper, right? So I am worried that this game could get out of hand because I did not see anything from this offense that makes me think they're going to have a repeat. And even that 30-0, what was it? 14 of those points were actually at the helm of the defense or the Panthers offense. So I'm not ready to. I think that this has the potential to still be an ugly game for the Panthers.
Well, again, our defense in recent weeks has not been bad. It was a 17-point game against the Saints, and turnovers were a problem. But our defense has kept us in games outside of the Patriots and the Bills. This is the balanced running attack. There isn't much that can be said about Bijan Robinson that hasn't already been said. He's averaging 75.4 yards a game on the ground, 679 yards on 135 carries. But he's also the Falcons' second leading receiver with 43 receptions for 467 yards and 2 touchdowns through the air. While Robinson continues to be the Falcons' big play back, he has 15 runs of 10-plus yards and has 567 of his yards after contact. Atlanta has a balanced attack with that of Tyler Algier. The latter has 6 touchdowns, tied with London for the most on the team, and all of Algiers have come on the ground. Against the Colts on Sunday, he scored twice, both from the 1-yard line, punching it in as a power back. How about this? As much as we hate it, Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier are more of a dynamic duo than Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard.
Oh, sure.
Like,
Yeah,
dude,
no,
it's just the Rico attack for the Carolina Panthers. Chuba
no, I agree.
has been pretty much non-existent.
You know what this attack reminds me of? It reminds me of the Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram.
Yeah.
You know, when Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, when they first came on, man, it was like Alvin Kamara was the big play guy who's going to get you down the field. Ingram, you couldn't stop him outside of the one, at the 1-yard line, right? Now Kamara still could do that too. Don't get me wrong, but that's
Sure.
what their rush attack reminds me of.
Yeah, so our offense has to contend with the pass rush that is pass rushing. The Falcons invested heavily in young pass rushers this offseason. Now heading into the back half of the season, James Pierce Jr. and Jalen Walker are making more and more plays each week, establishing pressure from which the entire defense is benefiting. During their game against the Colts, Pierce, who had 1.5 sacks on the season, sacked Daniel Jones and forced a fumble. Walker, 4 sacks, recovered the fumble. So, this is a get-right game for both teams, CK. Both of these teams are licking their chops, coming off of what was essentially a close loss in both games, and now they're really looking to get a W here. And again, these division opponents count for double because this is the games that you have to win to win your division. So everything that we did wrong against New Orleans, we have to do right against the Atlanta Falcons. Or, I already felt like our season kind of ended against New Orleans, CK, just because they showed the blueprint on how to beat this Panthers team. But if we lose to Atlanta, oh, dude, there's no hope against Seattle, no hope against Tampa, no hope against the Rams. Like, if we lose this, if we lose this, dude, it's kaput, bro.
Yeah, it certainly feels that way. Now, from a statistical standpoint, it's possible that it's not going to be that way. But, I think we can read between the lines, and it certainly doesn't look as though this is going to be a season that we can continue to have hope for if we end up losing against the Falcons. The only silver lining to the situation this from losing to the Saints is the Tampa Bay Bucks lost and the Atlanta Falcons lost. So that does keep us still within reach of the division title. Whether is gonna mean anything at the end of the year, it's right now. It certainly doesn't feel that way.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. So let's see what Vegas has to say. The Panthers right now are, dude, I can't even read this. So right now we're basically the Falcons are favored -3.5.
Yeah.
And they're at home. And they have a worse record than us.
Yeah.
So
but their losses have looked outside of the Panthers loss, their losses have been one score, and they've had an opportunity at the end of the game to win it.
Yeah, also, but CK, can I pose this to you? I'm more heartened being an underdog than I am the favorite, because every time that the Panthers are a favorite, we blow it.
That's like, it almost is like, it's almost like Panthers players are out there gambling on it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're finally favored. Let me go ahead and just, put money against against saying the Panthers are going to lose here. But I think I'm going to continue my trend here. I'm going to take the Falcons at home against the Panthers. I think the score, I think it's going to be 28-14 Falcons.
28-14 Falcons. You know what, CK? Like, for all the things that I've said about this team tonight, everything that I've said about Bryce Canales and sort of having his leadership questioned, I still feel like Carolina can come away with a W.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Bryce Young has traditionally had his best performances against the Falcons. So, dude, for his future and for the hope of our team this season, remember, I only predicted 4 wins. Right now, we're sitting at 5. So we've already won 1 more than I predicted this season. I'm going for 6, man. I'm going for 6. I think the Panthers are going to come away with the W. I'm going to say 24-17. And I think the Panthers are going to get another win. We're going to sweep Atlanta. And we're going to walk away with the W. And again, we're going to be having this will they, won't they discussion because the 2025 Panthers are bipolar. Dude, they have these ups and downs that are just insane, man. Like, everyone's going to be on our ass if Bryce comes out and has an incredible performance. And, oh, C3 is the Bryce haters, and they just didn't believe in him. But, I mean, no matter what happens, I don't know what kind of performance Bryce would have to get me to change my mind on what I have seen from him through 10 games of the season. Like, he would have to play incredible.
We would have to, what would have to happen is I need to see the rest of the season. I need to see Dave Canales trust him with pushing the ball down the field. I need there to be the running game. Don't get me wrong. But I need to see us be able to go tit for tat against the best offenses in the league. And him doing it against a good defense like the Seattle Seahawks. Bro, that's a part of this that I think is going to be hard to overlook as far as like if he can come out and have a great performance. I think we need to see that glimmer of hope, and I think he needs to see it because I sincerely believe he is a rhythm quarterback, and I think he lives and dies off of confidence. And if his confidence is low, he does not play well, and he hasn't played well for 3 weeks.
Yeah. I wanted to play this one time, CK. Brian Thornton sent me this on Twitter, and it was too funny for me to not play. So I'll just play it before we get out of here. Hang on.
You are not the guy. You're not capable of being the guy. I had a guy, but now I don't. You are not the guy. Then what the hell am I doing here? I don't know. It's not my call.
Dude, I love that, man. The internet is undefeated. Yeah, man. CK, we're at the end of the show. Again, happy birthday to our brother Tony Dunn.
Yep.
He got out of here early tonight. But CK, there's one final segment on the longest running Panthers podcast on the internet. It's time to tell some fools to toughen up and get their act together. Our homage to Steve Smith. It's time to ice some fools up.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
This is where we tell them to toughen up, get their act together. CK, do you have any ice ups off the top of your head that you want to drop tonight, man?
I'll see what you got real quick and see if anything comes to mind in the meantime.
Dude, I'm just icing up the blame game that our government plays. So just recently this government shutdown happened, and everyone's playing the blame game. Oh, it's the Republicans, and oh, it's the Democrats. Meanwhile, it's like they're all just playing games with people who actually, are air traffic controllers, people in the military, 42 million people on food stamps. And I just hate that now your average everyday Americans are just fodder for people to gain ground politically, man. And to me, it's a testament of the world that we live in right now. I wish I had a funnier one. I don't, but I just feel like these fucking politicians just play around with the people that they're elected to serve.
Yeah.
And I can't stand it, man. It's very annoying to me. Honorable mention, PlayStation had their PS5 showcase today, and they didn't introduce shit. Nothing exciting, nothing cool worth mentioning. So to useless politicians on the left and right, and to Sony not exciting anyone with their future lineup for PS5, ice up, son.
Yeah. On that note, I'll also I have 2 ice ups, but I will ice up the fact that GTA 6 is pushed back to November now of 2026. So we have still another year of not having GTA 6, which is unfortunate.
Embarrassing, man.
That's the other part of it. The other thing is there was this TikTok that's been happening where there's a girl who is reaching out to churches. And by the way, Christian here, I go to church, and one of the things is I'd love to be able to pride myself on is that we are generous and we help people and all that, right? Well, this girl, she was calling churches up, and she's done it for multiple different denominations, so multiple different bases like religion, not Christians, not just Christianity, but Islam, all that, right? And it saddens me to say that she would call Christian churches and Baptists and ask for help and say, I need formula for my newborn baby, having the baby crying in the background. And there's just so many of these quote unquote white churches that just shut her down and don't offer any help. And then the people that are more likely to help are people from like Islam, people, for lack of a better way of saying it, those churches that have a little bit more soul involved with them. They're like willing to help. And there's a few of the quote unquote white churches that do. I don't think there's a white church. I think there's everybody's welcome.
Right.
We just tend to go with our people, and everybody does. It's just a human nature. But it saddens me.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but she didn't really have a baby, right? It was just like
no.
experiment.
Yeah, it was an experiment. Yeah, and it just saddens me that where you think you should be able to reach out for that type of a help for a religion that believes heavily in pro-life. A girl who had a baby, and that at least apparently did. There was no efforts to try to help this little one, and that's part of the argument. If you're a pro-lifer, is like there are people that are going to be willing to help. Like you should let them continue. You're going to have the baby. We're going to help you. People will be there to help you. And when they reach out for help, there's nobody there. That bugs me, and it's something that I'm passionate about fixing within the at least where I'm located. And but I'm icing up the church in that regard. At least the people who claim to be a godly church. That's not God. That's not Jesus. That's not anybody. That's just humans not doing what they were called to do on the earth. So
great ice up, man. Great ice up. That's it. That's it for the C3 Panthers podcast. My name is Cody Lashley. I produce this show. That's CK Codizzle Allen, the voice that makes them moist. We will be back this Friday for another edition of the C3 Friday Free For All, where you can be a part of the discussion that we have on the show. And we will also be back Sunday, 30 minutes after the game, when we react to the Panthers going to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. C3 Legion, we love y'all. Until next time, keep pounding.